Carter Booth, Brian Pape, Erica Olson, Dr. Shirley Smith, and Katie Bordenaro here. So just for anybody that's here, if you just came in, make sure you sign in up front. Everybody, and then that's okay. And then if you're here from the public, not the representative or the applicant, and wish to speak on an application, please fill out a speaker card and hand it to me. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to take things a little bit out of order, but actually tonight I think I'm pretty much taking things in order. So I call up the applicants. The applicants will come forward. There's 2 microphones here. Everybody, please, you have to use a microphone. They'll go through the application. We will then go to the committee for any questions. Once we're done with the committee, we will go to the public. The public will come up. If you didn't fill out a speaker part, you can still come up and speak. Just fill out the speaker card. Afterwards, speak to the committee. Be respectful. You're just addressing your comments to the committee. If somebody else has spoken on the matter, try not to repeat everything they said, add new information, say you agree, just so we can keep things moving along because we've got a pretty busy agenda tonight. Once everybody from the public has spoken, the applicants can speak to the committee and address anything that was raised. And I think that's it. There are printouts of the agenda up here. Again, use the microphone, be respectful. And if anybody is here for DeMolinari, Greenwich, doing business at St. George at 62 Greenwich Avenue, they laid over at the last minute due to illness until next month. So we will not be hearing that. Is there anybody from the public who came to speak on that? No. Okay. Okay. So the first application is 20 Cornelia LLC, doing business as Cora, Silver Apricot at 20 Cornelia Street. Is anybody here for that? Okay. Use that one, or you can, the one on the stand should work too. It has.
Is it on?
Yeah, now.
Okay, great.
Like speak right into it.
Got it.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Emmeline Zhao. We currently have Silver Apricot at 20 Cornelia Street, and
And you're speaking to us.
Oh, okay, great.
Okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
I'll do my best.
We'll get, yeah.
I'm generally soft-spoken. I'll do my best.
Yeah, it's a microphone. You just have to hold the
Okay.
microphone right up. Or,
Got it.
huh? You can't hear me either? Okay.
Okay,
Try
I'll try.
try the other microphone or try, yeah. Let me. Just hang on a second.
This one better? There we
Yeah.
go. I think it's the mic. Yeah.
And do you have did you bring any of the questionnaires with you, the application with you?
Yeah, I have it with me.
Yeah.
So we've been,
Can you, if you have the questionnaires, can you hand them out to the,
I have one copy. Is that okay?
no, you're supposed to
wasn't-
bring more than one, but we'll make do.
So we've been at this location we've been operating at this location for 4 years now. We are converting the space and it's an alteration application. We're just changing the front of the restaurant from 3 tables to, we're just putting in a service bar. There's no change to the actual liquor license. Everything else stays the same.
It's a service bar. It's a bar. It's a
restaurant.
stand-up bar.
Yeah, it's a stand-up bar, but it's not like a liquor bar.
But it's not what.
It's not, we're not applying for a spirits license. Currently, we have beer and wine.
You have a restaurant wine license.
Yeah.
You're not changing your license.
No.
You are removing the seats in the front.
Correct.
And you are putting in a stand-up bar.
That's correct.
Okay. And the stand-up bar has 8 seats.
8 seats. That's correct.
So it's 8 tables, 18 seats. It's 26 seats.
Yep.
Inside.
Yep.
So, and your hours are Tuesday to Friday, 5 to 11, and Saturday to Monday, 11 to 11?
Correct. No, 5:30 to midnight.
Okay. Is that?
That should be the hours that are in the application, 5:30 to midnight.
That is the hours on the application. That's not the hours that you currently have. The stipulations say that you're Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and Tuesday to Friday, 5 p.m. to 11 p.m.
I think that's probably because for a while we did do brunch service and we no longer do brunch service.
Okay, but what about the 11 p.m.? That's actually more what I'm concerned about than the.
That is, the application was always until 12 a.m. 11 p.m. I think we held back because of COVID. We opened during COVID.
But this was signed in 2018 for 11 p.m.
Okay.
I'm just going by what was applied for and signed at that time.
Understood. We've never actually operated until 12 a.m.
Right, okay, so I just want to be clear on the request, then the request now is to also change the hours to 12 a.m.
Yes,
Okay. So it would be 11, it would be
5:30.
5:30 to
Yep.
11, 7 days, 5:30 to 11. Hang on a second, 5:30 to 11, or not at all, you want 12 a.m. every day?
Yes.
Okay. And then you close the doors at 9 o'clock. There's no operable doors. Nothing, no operable windows that are open all the time. No.
No.
Okay. And then there's no sidewalk or roadbed.
No.
Okay. So then the other issue is the rear yard.
Mhm.
Is there anything that shows you can use the rear yard?
Yeah, so it's in our lease. It's written into our
But
lease
is
and we
there
have an
any-
agreement.
Is there anything from the Department of Buildings that shows that you can use the rear yard? Because that's what matters.
This has been a very fun bureaucratic game for us over the last several years. Was we reached out to Department of Buildings. And the DOB, because of COVID, then punted us to the DOT, saying that everything that had anything to do with outdoor dining went to the DOT.
But that's not,
And then-
that's on private property, so it doesn't have anything to do with
Well,
DOT.
that's what we said. And nobody had any idea what was going on with outdoor dining at the time. And so we basically kept on getting ping pong between the DOT and the DOB. And so it was only about a week ago that we finally heard back from the DOB that said, hang tight, we'll get back to you. So it's been a.
So I mean, because back in 2018, which was November of 2018, a year and a half before COVID, the stipulations said that you will obtain a permit or a letter of no objection, which specifically indicates rear yard use is allowed in the residential only R6 zoning back there. So
Because we were originally going to open in 2019, and because of construction and any number of things that held us back, we didn't end up opening. We weren't able to open until March. Well, we were supposed to open then in March 2020. And then COVID happened. So then we had to wait until June 2020 to actually open. And so when this all happened was it was between March and June that when we were supposed to open, that we reached out to figure this all out. Because it was just construction chaos and it was the perfect storm.
okay, I mean, I guess our concern is always there's a few concerns with this one. One, the rear yard, you don't have anything that shows you can use the rear yard, so it's a safety issue, egress issue, and all of that. I believe there's a fire escape that comes down
Yes, there
into there. So if that's all fenced in now or something, that's another issue.
was always the fence for the rear yard.
So however,
Yeah.
but that's that egress. So DOB has not we need something that shows that rear yard
Right.
is able to be used for eating and drinking, and we don't have anything.
Well, your pictures show I don't see any DOB plans that were pulled to construct anything in the rear yard. You just went ahead and built stuff back there.
We had an awning that was placed in there.
Right, but it's all wood. It's not awning. It's a.
No, the
physical
wood is the wood
construction.
paneling on the fence.
And what about above?
It's an awning. That can be removed.
And you but again, it's attached to the building.
It's attached to the fence.
Okay, so you guys have just been building back there without any permits.
We haven't been
We've
building
discussed this
anything.
extensively in
I know.
2019.
I know, but
So-
we've been waiting,
That's
we've been
fine.
waiting for all of this from them as well.
But I'm waiting for what?
We've been waiting for them to come and respond to literally everything we've asked about.
Did you submit a request for a letter of no objection?
Yes, we submitted so many.
And what
We were,
was their response to that request?
it was truly just, we got radio silence for a long time because we kept on getting ping pong between the DOT and the DOB. It wasn't until last week that we finally got something that had any acknowledgement that we had reached out.
Can you guys send us a copy of the application for the
Yeah,
letter of no
I can
objection?
pull it. I can pull it up.
Okay, because the letter of no objection has nothing to do with DOT. That just says that you can use the rear yard and that it's an allowable use.
I understand and I fully agree. During outdoor dining, everybody just kept on directing us to DOT about outdoor
I
dining.
guess my
regardless
point
of
would
what
be
it
that
was.
when you came here in 2018, this was part of the stipulation then. So that's before outdoor dining. That's before the pandemic. I would have thought that since your application at that time, there was a whole discussion about the rear yard, that you would have sent something in at that point and applied for it, since the stipulation clearly said that you'd be showing something like that
I agree.
before opening.
We did go and do that. It took us a while. I understand that we didn't do it immediately after the meeting and that was on us. But we did reach out because we were delayed on opening. And we did try to get it ahead of opening. But like I said, March of 2020 was chaos. And it's kind of been this crazy thing that we've been dealing with.
Okay, so I don't have anybody signed in to speak, just the letter we received. I just want to go through, the windows and doors are, you kept closed, 12 PM, lights out, everybody gone.
Yes.
And we do have somebody here. Okay. And then, so you know what? Let me go to the public first. We'll go to the public first. Okay.
Sure.
Anybody from the committee have anything? Katie? Eric? Are you?
This one work? Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I'm just a little confused. It looks from the pictures like you already put the bar in,
Yeah, we're building the bar at the moment.
but that's the application. Okay.
Yeah, we're not operating.
No, this is not that.
Figure that out. Okay, so I am very concerned about that backyard. But how do the patrons get in and out of the yard? It's a little tricky to see on your, do they,
It's through the restaurant.
it's through the restaurant and there's no way for anyone to get from the restaurant into the building?
No, because it's the residential side is locked from the garden side.
From the, okay,
Yeah.
so there is a door, but it's locked from the,
Correct.
that's it. And your menu, your food menu seems quite limited and much less than in the Silver Apricot. And you didn't give us any prices for the beer and wine. We didn't get any menu for your beer and wine.
We can submit that as well. It's effectively the same as what we have right now for Silver
Okay, the
Apricot.
same?
Yeah,
Okay.
that doesn't change.
And it's not, I only see like 3 things for dinner. It's a lot of small
Katie,
plates.
just 1 second. If everybody's having conversations, can you just take the conversations outside so we can hear up here? Thank you.
So it seems very limited, your menu.
It's actually about the same size as Silver Apricot's, and it's actually more substantial because Silver Apricot's menu currently is all small plates. This is designed to have more variation in size, so it's actually a more substantial menu.
Okay. And I'm not going to approve this seating in the backyard, although I did eat there in 1993, but when I was home, I didn't realize it was a problem. But I don't know, I mean, it's very close quarters there, and closing it at 11 PM might cause issues with the upstairs people.
So our agreement with the building is that we don't have anybody back there beyond 10.
Okay,
So
so you-
indoors is later, but outdoors, and we've, for the last several years, been the same. Like, we don't keep people back there late.
That's very good. Thank you.
Of course.
Okay, anybody else from the committee? No. Okay, I'll go to the public.
Sure.
Okay, Leslie Clark?
Hi, you can hear me, right? Yeah, I'm here because Kathy Arnson can't be here.
The write-up list.
Because Kathy Arnson can't be here tonight from Central Village Block Association, but she did brief me on this. I just want to reiterate that they are opposed to the backyard use completely, that there is no letter of no objection. There's no certificate of occupancy back there, that it should not be used and it should not have been built in and it should not be used going forward. And if they were to do that, that they would like to see an alteration on that. They're also very worried about, this is becoming more of a bar. The fact is you're having fewer entrees, more small places, small plates. You're having more bar space and less table space. This block has been experiencing a problem. Those of you who were at the 6th precinct meeting will know about this. It's become a part of the overflow of the drug problem and the homeless problem from Washington Square. And what's happening is you now have people, shooting up there. You have more homeless people there. And there's been a change on this block. You add in something like the Cornelia Street Cafe becoming sip and guzzle. It's changing the nature here. So the Central Village Block Association and West Village residents are opposed to this application. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else here on this? No. Okay, go ahead.
So I guess there are a couple of things I want to address here. So for starters, I don't know if my team submitted to you the letter that we have from the Cornelia Street Block Association president. So we have that support.
That's one.
I
Yeah,
understand.
Cornelia Street.
I
Yeah,
understand.
that's the one person.
Yes,
We have that.
that I fully understand. Fully agree. The block has issues with respect to those that are homeless and with drug use. And we've actually been working with the residents to try to fix that. I call the police every week. It's not any more fun for me than anybody else. And it's something that we've also worked with those in the building. We've worked with our super, we worked with our landlord. We're trying to fix this problem as much as anybody else. With respect to this turning more into a bar, like I said, that's just categorically false. We've designed this menu specifically to be more of the neighborhood. We've been here for 4 years. When I first spoke to you in 2018, originally it was supposed to be a fine dining restaurant. And then COVID happened. And then we realized like this is what the neighborhood needed, which was not a fine dining restaurant. We started to understand our neighbors and like what the neighborhood needed. And so this change truly is to serve our neighborhood. So like I said before, it's not more small plates, it's actually less. The current menu again is all small plates. We're changing it to be such that it is more larger, more substantial, a lot more accessible to the neighborhood. We've had some issues with a couple of residents on the block. The aforementioned of whom has like actually threatened us physically. And it brings me no joy to talk about this, but Kathy's husband has also come into the restaurant, verbally assaulted my staff and those in like the guests in my restaurant, and that
They're not here right now to
Yeah,
say anything, so I think this is inappropriate.
this was what was mentioned, and
Actually, that wasn't.
it terrifies me. So, but like I said, everything that we have done has been for the community. We've done everything that we could to work with the community. We literally do community dinners and raise money for a local foundation that serves the needy in the neighborhood. So
I guess the two issues are the real issue is that rear yard.
which we're working on.
But we don't have anything that shows it can be used. So we're going back and do you want to remove the rear yard from the application?
I do not, because we're still working on it. And
We don't
I
have
want-
anything that shows it can be used, and now we're going back almost 6 years and we still don't have anything that shows it could be used. And it was the benefit of the doubt sort of, and it was supposed to be resolved before, so,
I agree.
okay.
Yeah.
So you have a microphone right there.
Tell me what is this a picture of here?
Yeah, so this is all a temporary,
But this is all wood, correct?
this is the fence that is
Right.
the property line.
Oops.
So that's the fence, that's the property line.
What is this on the top? It's all
With-
wood?
No, this is all
No,
fabric.
no, right here. This is all wood?
That's metal. So it's a lightweight metal
Okay, but
and
so,
it can fold and be
so
taken
where does
away
the fire escape come down?
on this side, like where we are. So it's fully removed from this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just online.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys purposefully did not include this in your pictures that you submitted to us. You
Right.
just,
I sent
You-
it, we sent
No,
that.
yeah, you
don't
just
have
took
that.
the walls. You
We
didn't
have the
show
walls. We have
above.
no roof. We have nothing.
Okay, sorry, that was a bad
Right.
photo that we sent.
Well, it wasn't an inclusive photo, I would say. Okay, anybody else from the committee have anything? No. Katie?
Hello. So can you repeat what hours we're talking about, please? Just so,
The hours are 5:30 that she wants are 5:30 to 12, 7 days a week. She currently has 11.
well, I would be happier with 11 on on the weekdays, Monday through.
Yeah, we're fine with that. We're
So
perfectly fine
Sunday
with
through
that.
Thursday, 11. and-
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Okay, great.
Okay. Okay, I think that does it. Thank you. Okay, the next application is going to be Perry Cafe, 552 Hudson Street, also known as 101 Perry Street. It's a tavern, wine and sidewalk.
Have that on there, so I don't have fun. Do you want? Change? Oh, yes, I'm looking at it. Hello, everybody.
I think, yeah, you might, yeah, just use the one on the stand, the ones,
Okay, can you hear me?
no, but now it has to be turned on.
Okay.
Yeah,
great,
got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Donald Bernstein on behalf of the applicant. I'm here on a new beer and wine license application for the space at 552 Hudson in the corner of Perry Street. This is going to be a family-owned business. With me is Mickey and Carol, who, as you can see, are brothers, and Mickey's wife and daughter. Mickey and Carol and their wives are going to be the owners of this cafe. They have been in the restaurant business, working in the restaurant business for many, many years. The first restaurant in New York that they owned was the Consulate, which is still open on the Upper West Side since 2019, a full-service restaurant. They opened a second Consulate on West 56th Street a little over a year ago in March of 23, and they have another restaurant in Williamsburg in Brooklyn that they've had for about 3 years. This is going to be a very small cafe. It is 900 square feet on the ground floor. It has a basement that is not for patron use, just back of house space. They will offer a light menu of pastries and crepes and sandwiches and charcuterie. We provided the menu, so there's a full assortment of all of those, as well as soft drinks, coffees, teas, and beer and wine. The interior of the premises will have 17 tables with 34 seats. You can see it has banquet seating, one table in the corner. There is, for lack of a better word, a bar, but that's where the food is prepared. Basically, people can go in, place their order, receive it at what I'm calling a bar, which is really not what it is, but I don't know what else to call it, food counter, and then take it to their seats. There are only 5 stools at that bar, so people can sit and also have a beverage, but there's room for 5 people there. There is a plan to have sidewalk seating. I think, however, that the application we file with the SLA is not going to include the sidewalk seating. Because we cannot apply to DOT until we get our health permit. And hopefully by that time, we'll be ready to pick up the beer and wine license and don't want it delayed waiting for approval by DOT. So we'll probably not include the sidewalk seating with our initial application. And after we have our beer and wine license, we will come back. We will file with DOT. We will come back to you. We'll go back to the State Liquor Authority on an alteration application.
Have been filed with DOT yet or no?
No, we cannot file until we get a health permit. And we can't get a health permit until we built out. We're not built. So the health permit, we probably won't get till, I would guess, February. So then we have to file with DOT, wait for them to approve it, and then go through the process of amending it. So
Okay, but just for our purposes in looking at this application, I'm just going to say we're going to look at the sidewalk seating because that,
you can look at
We're
it,
gonna
but
look
I
at it.
think it's probably best discussed when we come back on the alteration or in connection with the
Okay.
DOT application. That's up to you.
right,
We're prepared to discuss it. My view is, we're certainly willing to talk about the sidewalk cafe. We've indicated
Right.
how many seats we have, certainly willing to discuss it. I think that's
but you're not
best
applying for it now,
down-
so it's not part of this.
down the road. Now, I don't want to say if we do have a stipulation that there will be no outdoor seating because
Right.
there will be outdoor seating,
Right,
but it's not part of this application. Just want to be clear about
Okay.
that. So
got it.
what we're talking about is a cafe of 900 square feet with 17 tables, 34 seats. The hours will be 7 a.m. until 11 p.m. during the week and closing at midnight weekend. So that is not a late night establishment.
And weekend is Friday, Saturday?
Weekend is Friday and Saturday. Thursday will be, we're traditional weekend, just Friday and Saturday. Music is just background music only. There are no open doors, no open facades, no French doors. There can't be in this building. It is just a nice neighborhood cafe. Their restaurants, by the way, are beautiful. I've been there. I wish I actually had attached pictures to this, not because it's going to look like that, because they're very different full service, high-end restaurants, but they're exquisitely done and very tasteful. And that is what they're going to do here. It's going to be a very attractive, appealing cafe. This is not a bar. It is not late night. It doesn't have loud music. It doesn't have a traditional bar at all. It has 5 stools where people can sit and eat or drink, and it is not late night. And it is just going to have background recorded music, no open windows. That is it. We did reach out to the Block Association. They came to meet with my clients. I was not there. I heard it was a rather unpleasant meeting. We're well aware. My client was made well aware of their opposition. I know they're going to be here tonight and oppose it. They've told my client that it's a war. That's what we were told. And I want to address some issues with respect to that. Because I think that when you as a board have to consider this application, in my view, you have to consider what the legal standard is for beer and wine. I think this is a very important issue. And you have a very good example to test that. And that was 535 Hudson Street. And I'm very familiar with what happened at 535 Hudson Street. That came before you in 2019. It's not far away from where we are.
Which one is that?
It was the ramen place. It was called Karaoke Ramen at 535 Hudson Street in a basement. It was below grade. Okay, so the same group came before you, very strongly opposing that for many reasons, some the same reasons that we have been told they are opposing tonight. And you wrote a very detailed resolution against the application. And the critical part about this is that was also beer and wine. It went to the State Liquor Authority, and the State Liquor Authority initially denied the application by a split vote. Chairman Bradley said, we have to approve it, it's beer and wine. The other 2 commissioners said, no, we have to look at saturation, we have to look at noise, we have to look at traffic, we have to look at the community concerns. So they denied it 2-1. A request for reconsideration was made based upon the fact that when you have a beer and wine license application, the legal standard in the statute is that it must be approved absent good cause shown. That's the standard. And good cause shown is not community opposition and cannot be based alone on community opposition. Good cause shown is they're a convicted felon. They lie in their application. They have a history of violations. They can't show their source of funds. The objective criteria that we deal with is what good cause shown is. Good cause shown is not, we have too many bars, it's noisy, those sorts of things. So on reconsideration, the State Liquor Authority said, you're right, we have to approve this. And they did. The group then brought an Article 78 in court challenging it, saying that the State Liquor Authority was wrong. And what's most interesting, which was denied, it was dismissed from court. What was most interesting is the affidavit that Lily Fan, who was a commissioner at the time and is now chair, submitted in that Article 78. And she made very clear what the legal standard is for beer and wine. And she said, absent good cause shown, and she listed the criteria that I just listed, we have to approve this. So we're in the same situation here. The State Liquor Authority has to approve this application. These guys are good operators. The only violations they ever had is they had a couple of COVID violations. When unfortunately everybody else had COVID violations, nothing beyond that. They're experienced operators. There's a letter of no objection for the space, specifically allowing eating and drinking.
Is there a letter?
There is a letter of objection.
Did you
from
send that?
April of-
I'm not quite, I didn't see it. That's all. And I
We
didn't,
didn't have it.
thank you.
I'm sorry, this is new. You asked me
Okay.
anything new.
Thanks.
It is permitted by the city of New York to be operated as an eating and drinking establishment. That is established. It is, in my opinion, much better to go to the State Liquor Authority with stipulations. I think it serves us,
I got the
the
point.
community, and we would urge you to do that. And anything you want to add? You good? Okay. Any questions? for me?
Let me I just want to be clear on one thing. The wait staff, so people order, pick up at the counter, that will include their wine or their beer, they order that, they
Yes.
bring that to
Will
their
be
table. There
staffed.
is no wait staff bringing, I'm assuming you tell me, what? I'm sorry.
I'm told that that's the initial plan. They may determine to put in a wait person to go to the tables, but that remains to be seen, right? Or you can have wait staff where people go to the counter. Maybe one person and there'll be people working behind the counter.
If he's going to speak, you need to hand him the microphone.
So the idea is like to be like very simple. So not to have like bunch of employees. So there is no food, there is no first course, second course, dessert. So the idea is like to be very smooth. Everyone can order by themselves at the bar. Seated. The table's gonna be like super small. They're not.
Microphone.
The table's gonna be super small. It's not gonna be like table that you can put bunch of drinks and plates on the tables. So the idea is like to be like fast turnover, like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. People leave dating, you know.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, on the 535 Hudson case, you missed an important point, and that was the allegation of tenant harassment of the landlord by putting the entrance to his basement location right in front of her window of her apartment, which was literally closer than where Donna is sitting to me. And that is why the two commissioners initially voted against it, because it was clearly an inappropriate place. It may in the end have succeeded, but it's not reasonable. That was probably one of the most outlier situations of a case that you could have. And so I pose the question here in this case is, obviously the community is very upset with your application. Why would you want to continue to pursue it?
Well, they don't know these guys and they don't know their operation, I'm presuming. And they're going to have to speak for themselves. We've signed a lease. I'm telling you, they signed a lease. They signed a lease. I mean, what do you want them to do? Walk away? They're not doing that.
Need to use the mic.
I just was asking your clients.
I
not
think
you.
they're very disappointed because they know they're going to run a good, nice operation. And I suspect that some of the people that oppose it, and we see this a lot, end up becoming customers because it's going to be a nice place. So they've committed to this. They've signed the lease. They're going to build it out and they're going to operate a nice place that's not going to be a disturbance. It's not going to be a loud place. It's going to be a nice place to sit, have coffee, some sandwiches, and maybe have a glass of wine.
Does anybody else from the committee have anything? Kate?
I'm still waiting for
Go
the
ahead.
answer from your clients.
So I agree with Carter. I agree with Carter that the ramen place is an unfortunate example to use because I think they might have lied to us about the relationship between the business downstairs and access to the residential area that has come to light later. So I would caution you because we've had, don't answer. I'm just telling you, you don't have to answer because I have other questions for you. I'm looking at this letter of no objection. I'm looking at the certificate of occupancy in the packet. It says there is no certificate of occupancy number 33906. I put my reading glasses on, but there is a certificate of occupancy. I don't get this.
I'm guessing that's a typo because
I am too.
to say that there is no certificate of occupancy with the number, clearly they're wrong.
I
So I'm guessing it's a typo. And I just want to, on your first question,
No, I don't.
I'm not defending that applicant. I'm making a point of a legal standard. That's the only point I'm making.
Well, I'm telling you that they lied to us, so it's a problem. It's the-
I'm not defending them. I'm
I
just
know.
talking about a legal standard.
Okay, but let's go to some questions. Do you plan to use the Perry Street door to access the inside for your patrons?
By using the Perry Street door for an entrance. No entrance is on. Entrance is on Hudson.
Okay, there is a door, this on the plan. And what about, I don't see any prices on the menu that was provided. What's the average check going to be?
So prices will be decided later on. So we still don't have a clear picture of for the pricing.
Okay. Now, I know that we're not discussing the seating tonight, but it sort of leapt off the page at me that you're planning more seats outside than inside. So, how does it, what's the business plan if there are more seats outside than inside planned?
Well, I think it's just the availability, the fact that it's on a corner. So we have availability with both streets.
But is it viable with only indoors? I mean, is it financially viable with only indoors?
I don't, is it viable if you don't have any sidewalk seating? I don't know. That could be problematic. So we're hoping to get sidewalk seating and we'll be applying for it in due course.
Okay. Katie, are you good? Okay, so. All right, so there's one bathroom, right? There's one bathroom? Or two bathrooms?
So one bathroom? One ADA bathroom.
How many people?
How many people will be in the space?
Carter,
Well, the indoor will have a maximum of 39 seats. Outdoors is to be determined. Ideally 42 seats, but that's what we were asking for and we'll see what we can discuss. Of course.
yes.
And with that many seats on the outside and inside, I mean, that seems like the number is getting a little too high.
In our experience, if you're under 75, we've gotten waivers of the two restrooms.
Because that is a consideration for the outdoor dining that was put out in the memo is the number of patrons per bathroom.
Who doesn't care?
Um,
Okay. I think why don't we just go to the public since there's a lot of members from the public here? Members from the public, do you want to just come on up? Don't, it'll just be faster if everybody comes up and then I'll just call the names. Kyle Yen, Paulus, I'm sorry that I can't read the handwriting. Okay, just come on up. Gary Unsing, Donald, Steinhardt, just anybody who's ready can come up and speak. You can sign in and hand in. Yep. Yeah, you can use that one that's there.
Is that working? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
working. Yeah.
And state your name and then go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Leslie Clark. I'm with West Village Residents Association. We would like a denial on this one because
Yeah, you have to hold the microphone right here or keep it.
I would like
stand up.
denial because on the basis of the previously unlicensed space, I did some analysis for a meeting with Lily Fan last November, and then I updated it. Community District 2, our area, has shown an incredible conversion from dry to wet spaces. And I did the numbers. They may not be perfect because LAMP is difficult to deal with, but you have had 182 applications for previously unlicensed spaces in the last 7.5 years, and 144 of them have been licensed. There are many more that are still in the works. I think I found in a total of maybe 14 that had never been licensed out of that whole number. What it comes down to is the following. The places, because Community Board 2 often lists what it was, and I thank you for that. What it means is this kind of licensing in real terms mean the loss of 7 clothing stores, 3 hair and 3 nail salons, 2 furniture stores, 2 laundromats, 1 dry cleaner, a card store and a stationery store, a grocery store, a real estate, insurance, and medical office. Those are 3 different things. A craft store and a print shop, even a woman's shelter. This is what we have lost in this community as a result of licensing previously unlicensed spaces. Everything that I listed here is what were in resolutions prepared by this community board, and every one of them was used by the community. We are opposed to licensing a previously unlicensed space. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. My name is Marla Klinger, and I strongly oppose this application. I live at 101 Perry Street, apartment 2A, directly above this proposed spot. I could go on and on about all the things that concern me about this application, but the highlights, they keep saying, and Mr. Bernstein said it repeatedly, not a bar, but if it's just going to be a quiet coffee shop, why are they asking for a beer and wine license? Our corner is just inundated with bars and it's loud, the garbage, the rats. I have lots of concerns about the soundproofing. I have lived through the last iteration of the space, which was a nightmare for me. And the applicant said they were going to soundproof, but not do it professionally, not get consultants. So I have big concerns. It's impossible to walk down the streets. I have an elderly neighbor next to me. She can barely walk down these streets. It would be horrible if outdoor seating came on Perry Street and Hudson Street. I mean, it's just terrible. So I will stop there, but I strongly oppose this. I live right above it. Thank you.
John, I have a
Yes,
question.
hang on a second.
So, Marla, is that your name?
Marla,
Thank you. Where do your windows look out, Perry or Hudson?
both.
Uh-huh.
I have the luck. Yes, I have
In our apartment.
I have a
And
corner apartment.
and it was the ballet studio was playing.
I wouldn't call it a ballet studio. Yeah,
their
that
music.
was a nightmare. That was a nightmare. They did not soundproof, and yeah. And I will say I've been in the neighborhood for 20 plus years, and just to hear that list of all the things that we've lost in the neighborhood, it is literally just bars. So thank you. I appreciate your listening to me.
Next.
I'm Gary Onsom. I don't have a crystal ball, but I have a pretty good idea of what this
You have to
restaurant
focus
is.
like really right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll start over. I don't have a crystal ball, but I have a pretty good idea of what this establishment is going to look like in a year or so. My father once said, once bitten, twice shy. And I'm thinking of a Tao, which was just a coffee shop to be opened up. And it's going to be easy, nice. And now we look at what it looks like today. I can see in a year from now, they have their OP license, their They're seating outside, and it will be another bar on another corner, making it 4 on that,
Yeah.
those corners. They have a bar that's 24 hours open till 4 in the same building. When we met with them, yes, it was a little contentious, but one of the things they said was they had to have this to survive, and they wanted to stay open till 11. It's looking more and more less like a cafe, coffee shop, and more like a bar. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll be back in a year.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Kalian Fails Jussel. I speak kind of loudly, so apologies in advance if I'm sort of yelling in your ears. I turned 43 this year. Happy birthday to me. I'm born and raised in the corner of Perry and Hudson. I've seen all of the changes in the neighborhood across Bleecker, Hudson, Grant, everything from, you've probably seen it all too. Realistically, I'm a huge fan of small business and entrepreneurship. I support that. I love it. I go to the ramen place that was referenced earlier tonight because their food is delicious. However, there's really, from my standpoint, no justification for this business in this space, right? If I want a croissant or a beer or a wine, there's about 6 places I can go inside of a 1-block radius to get that. Doesn't really make sense for me to go across the street. And if thinking about it visually, as I exit my 114 Perry Street and I take a right and I'm walking over to Hudson Street, I've got Joe and the Juice, Lee Tao, Dante directly across the street, who, by the way, is hosting a pop-up shop social right now tonight, which is great because there's a line around the corner of people lined up to go in and consume their favorite beverages of choice. Not that these guys are in any way associated with that, but it feels like it's more of a spillover opportunity than anything else. We've got Cafe Katsumi right across the street. So literally the only corner on the entire place is where Pure Bar was, which I'm not a Pilates person, but if I was, that's probably where I would go. It feels out of place. It feels out of demand. It feels out of scope. It feels overly complicated. My fear, also as a parent of a PS3 student whose first day was actually today in 3rd grade, very exciting, is scope creep, right? So we start with beer and wine. That's great. We saw the same thing with countless places in the neighborhood. And then it's, look how well we've been doing over the last 2 or 3, 4, 5 years. Now we want a full on-prem liquor license. There's no shortage of places to get coffee, food, because I go to all of them, or alcohol, right? It's not necessary. It's not necessary on this corner. I don't see the demand. I can't speak to the owners or their recent businesses, all of which sounded like they've been opened inside of the last 5 years. So from a historical standpoint, I don't know if that counts. I'm not an attorney. I don't know if that counts, but it's out of place.
Got it.
And the amount of people just doesn't make sense. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. If you look at the application,
First, state your name. Please.
Bill Ballman,
Thank you.
lived on Charles Street for 45 years. And I've seen the changes in the neighborhood. If you look at the application, where this description of this new establishment, it says neighborhood wine bar featuring European and domestic wines and craft beers. Food is kind of an afterthought in the application. So I'm seeing this as a place that is going to be pushing as much wine and beer, and people are drinking through whatever hour that they're going to close. When we met with them last week, when we tried to pin them down on what were going to be the closing hours, it kept changing in the course of the hour-long meeting. Sorry about that. So that was very.
Stop for a second and turn that off.
Thank you. Someone who's writing a book about me. Anyway, so very concerned about the amount of seating. They've got 74 out of a possible 75 seats. I think when it goes above 75, it kicks in for certain restrictions in terms of the application. So it's very interesting that they're going for the absolute maximum without going over that. I'm very concerned about the loss of every other type of business in the West Village. We used to have lots of mom and pop places. It's now the hospitality industry, not mom and pop restaurants as it used to be when there were restaurants. So rats are everywhere. I was head of planting committee for Charles Street for 25 years, planting 93 tree beds every spring. We don't plant the tree beds anymore because of the rats. So anything that's going to add to more live trash, and you have the hours that they're going to be closing, but then you have the hours by which, you have the hours by which they're going to be picking up garbage, putting out the garbage, and so on. So it's not if it's 11 o'clock, it's not a strict cutoff 11. It's going to be noise throughout the night, as well as deliveries early in the morning. So anyway, that's what I had to say. And we're a concerned group of citizens. We're not rebel rousers. We're not rowdy. We're not threatening any people's lives or safety, as was kind of alluded to a little bit.
Okay.
And I resent that. Thank you.
Quick battery check.
Go ahead.
Hi there. My name is Don Steinert, Steinert.
Okay.
I live at 118 Perry Street. So I'm across Hudson, about a half a block down. Lived there for 17 years and have
You have to hold this like this.
I've lived there for 17 years. I've seen the deterioration in the quality of life in the neighborhood. I should also say I'm the president of the Greenwich and Perry Street Housing Corporation. This is a 10-building, 52-unit cooperative on the corner of Perry Street and Greenwich Street. Because of the timing of this application, we didn't really have chance as a co-op or a board to get together and discuss it. If you'd like, I can go out and solicit the opinions or take a vote of our 52 shareholders and residents. I think we know where it's going to end up. But I echo all of this, all of the sentiments that we hear tonight. I was initially very annoyed that I had to come here tonight. And I'm a guy who's very civic minded. But it's a beautiful September evening, and I was taking a shower to get here, and suddenly that feeling changed. I needed to get out of my apartment because I had one window cracked just a little bit, and it's already started. So it's 5:30 p.m. on a Thursday night, and there is already chaos outside on the street at a restaurant called Canto, which I think some of you are familiar with, at Perry Street. And the patrons of all of these places, they're not part of the community. It's not a community. These are not community establishments. The entire strip has become a restaurant hotspot for people from outside of the city and all over. These places do not serve the residents of the West Village at all. They're 24-year-olds. No bang on, no, nothing against 24-year-olds. I was there too. They come over, they get blind drunk. They are all pushed outside onto the street at the same time. They wait for Ubers for 20, 30 minutes. And in the meantime, they throw up on my doorstep. We are sick of this. I want to make two quick points. I know I've been speaking for a little while. Restaurants differ in kind from other businesses in one important respect: deliveries and maintenance vehicles. So a t-shirt store gets maybe one delivery every couple of weeks, 2 deliveries. I don't know anything about that business, but a restaurant has 10, 15, sometimes 20 trucks coming, idling, sitting on Hudson Street, double parked, blocking traffic, blocking emergency vehicles. It's a huge problem. Before you consider this application, I'd invite you to get a coffee on a Wednesday afternoon at 2:30 and check out the traffic. It's absurd. The last thing I'll say is this. Again, I'm annoyed to be here. And there's a lot of talk about the legalese of all of this. I don't want to have to come back here every time. I'm getting to the point where, I don't know, maybe I should just outsource all of this. I should brush off my law degree, hire somebody. It'd be great for his billables, but I'm not afraid to sue anybody either. So I would just really encourage this board to be very deliberate about your decision-making and the applicants as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello,
You gotta hold it
right here.
right there. You can put it in the stand too and just bend the stand, but it's gotta be right up.
Okay, right here. Okay, good. I'm Loretta Tassati. I live at 114 Perry Street.
And you're gonna have to speak louder. I'm sorry.
I'm Loretta Tassati. I live at 114 Perry Street. There's the sweet spot right there. I haven't lived in the building as long as Kalen has, so I did see him grow up. I come out of my door and I see exactly what he sees. Right here. When we come out of our door, we see exactly what Kalen sees. We hear exactly what Kalen sees in spades. So I'm not going to repeat everything that he had to say, but I do want to say this. We have no services in the community any longer. Another restaurant, with or without liquor, is not going to serve the community. Our quality of life, as you know, we've been here many times, it has been diminished. It just doesn't add any value. And I'm sure these gentlemen are wonderful businessmen. Would be great to have a coffee shop that didn't need a liquor license to sustain itself. Perhaps prove themselves as a cafe, a creperie, whatever, without a wine and beer license, add some value to the neighborhood that way. We don't need another bar, whether you call it a bar or not. Any place that has a wine room in the basement that's half the size of the establishment, to me, says bar. A serious intent to sell liquor to a lot of people until late at night. We're opposed. Opposed. Thank you. And that's also, I have a 25-year-old son who is also opposed, who's written a letter. So,
Okay,
thank you.
great. Yep.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Jessica Valdespino. I'm in the same co-op as Don Steinert here. I'm at 729 Greenwich Street, and I have been in the neighborhood over 45 years. And the neighborhood, as has been said before, has changed radically. I love the neighborhood. I'm very concerned, anxious about the changes that I see happening over the years. We've lost a lot of what I'm going to say is what's already been said, but I'll reiterate it. We've lost so many businesses, and there's so many restaurants, so many bars, bringing in all of these people. There was a young man stumbling down Greenwich Street a couple of years ago, drunk out of his mind, bleeding on his forehead, looked like a nice young man. He was in one of the bars there. I took him home in a cab. He was so drunk. It took 15 minutes driving around Manhattan before the taxi driver and I realized he lived in Brooklyn. And I took him to Brooklyn, because I was so worried about this young man, lovely young man. Then the other day, there's another one walking down the street drunk. So this is what's happened in our neighborhood. It has become a circus. In that spot there, Greenwich Street, Perry Street and Hudson has become a circus. It has become a circus. We have a 3-ring circus there now, and I'm sure these are very nice people, but now we want to put a 4-ring circus. It's unlicensed. Please do not grant this a liquor license. We would love to have another business there, not a restaurant, not a bar. I can't walk down Perry Street, by the way, in front of Dante. I can't walk on the sidewalk. I have to walk in the street because of the tables and the people waiting. I've eaten at Dante. They have good food. The lady that works there is very nice, but it's too much. And Kanto is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. So please, I'm asking you to oppose this. We don't need another eating, drinking establishment. We would love to have a different kind of business. Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Augustine Hope. I live at 543 Hudson Street, right across from this location. We've heard from everybody what the issues are. It's a very sensitive location. I've submitted a detailed letter outlining our problems with it, so I don't think I'll go over this in detail. I just wanted to address the elephant in the room on this application, and really Donald Bernstein sums it all up. He says, you guys have to consider the legal implications of this application, not apparently the community. Apparently, the only reason that a wine and beer license can be turned down is if they have a criminal record or something like that. So how the community feels about this is totally irrelevant. I don't think that's right. I don't think it's fair. I feel sorry for Mickey and Kira because they did not know what was going to happen when they had a meeting with the residents. But everybody and a lot more people in the neighborhood just say this place should not be licensed. Full stop. So I am asking you, and I'm asking on behalf of everybody else as well, to deny this outright, completely, fully, outright, and we'll take it up with the SLA about this and what can be done about the problems that we have in our neighborhood and the problem that we have at this particular location. And by the way, I'll say this indirectly to Mickey and Kiro. As we pointed out at the meeting, there are plenty of plenty of previously licensed places that are up for rent in our neighborhood. There's other places they can go to. And if they don't have a contingency clause in their lease, then I think the lawyer, presumably Donald Bernstein, may have made a mistake. I don't know of anybody that has ever signed a lease that doesn't have a contingency clause in it or a good guy clause. Thank you very much.
Donna, I have a question for
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Hope. Did I hear you say there were more people at the community meeting than there are here? I mean, how many other people besides the 9 of you that we heard here were involved, or different people? Okay.
Could you
Thank you.
wait?
And there's a lot of other people that
Augustine, can you
that
just,
share the
Augustine,
meetings.
just one sec. Can you just repeat what she said so we get it on the?
She said there were at least 20 people. I see.
Can I just say one thing? The reason I'm asking this is because we need it recorded into the microphone. So either step up and use the microphone, or Augustine, if you can just repeat what she's saying. That's the reason I'm doing this.
I was curious too, how many people showed up, and I counted it. It was about 20 people. My recollection, it was
Okay.
20 people.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Did they represent any other neighborhood groups?
I believe they were all West Villagers, but I don't know that for a fact.
Thank you.
The West Village Resident Association is represented here. Okay.
And everyone was opposed.
Okay, Augustine, you can, I don't know if you were done, no? Okay. Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else? I don't have anybody else signed up and nobody's standing here. I just want to make sure. Okay,
A couple of things I want to say. I think first and foremost, I sympathize with what they're saying. I'm sorry to hear about these problems. People should not have to live with people throwing up on their doorstep. No one can dispute that. I also understand a concern that was just expressed about a community board not having say on a beer and wine license. I understand that. Maybe you should. Maybe the law should be changed. Should there be a difference between beer and wine and liquor when it comes to that? It's not for me to say. But we have laws and we have statutes, and they define that there is a difference, and they define a different standard. So people may not like that. I'm not saying that they just should have to go along with it. They should like it, but that's how it is, for better or worse. That's just how it is. So we have to deal with the realities that some of these issues are just not proper standards. And I'm not making a judgment that it should be irrelevant. I'm just saying what it is.
clear. You were clear before on that.
So,
I'm sorry?
so let's go back to some of the issues you did raise were part of this. One of the principals here, I know, was he a manager at Olio APU? Why Not Coffee and Boucherie?
Yes, he worked with Emil for a number of years.
Was he a decision maker?
No, Emil was a
No,
decision
was he a
maker.
manager?
I
Because
don't know.
because each of those establishments had terribly run outdoors. In fact, currently, I don't know if the applicant was the head of the New York State Restaurant Association. If you recall, when Emil was getting his license at Boucherie, had to do a training for them because of his terrible track record in our community. I'm not sure if this
I'll answer
applicant
that
was
question.
part of that, but right now at Boucherie, the legacy of where he learned from right now, they're blatantly ignoring
Boucherie?
New York City Department of Transportation
Irrelevant.
on an ongoing
Exactly.
complaint, which was raised by a member of this committee and blowing off all the.
I'm not going to deal with
Okay.
what's going on.
So,
Let me answer
so
that
I just
question.
want to go back to that the concern here is running outdoor places. If he was a manager at Olio, when I lived around the corner from there, they had their sidewalk cafe open at 2 a.m.
I've
operating
represented
with customers.
I'm going to answer your question.
And so he says here that on his website, that he was a part of opening that, and that's part of his vast track record. Why not coffee? If you recall, they put benches all over the place. Guess what? Those benches and the tables and chairs on the sidewalk are out today. Donna took a picture of it. This is the track record of what was started when
You're
he
not
opened.
gonna pin what's going on today in Olio on these guys. And let
No,
me
no,
answer your
but
question.
this-
You
I'm
asked me a
saying
question.
What I just brought
Carter, I
now
want to answer the question.
was when you submit, if you recall, we went through a lot of that. He was a decision maker at that. And that's the concern the community has.
You want me to answer your
Well,
question?
I'm just saying that's the
Let
concern.
me answer your question. I've represented Emil since day one. I was with him on all of his places. I'm representing Emil now, who plans to open probably the largest restaurant in New York City at 115 Broadway. Emil decides what Emil decides. He controls, although actually right now, he's stepping back, but that's now.
To follow the law.
All the prior years that he's been operating his places, Emil calls the shots on all of his places. You're not going to pin on Kirill something that Emil did or did not do. You can try, because I know you're looking for a way to deny it. But these guys have a good track record. They have first of all, every one of their restaurants is in a residential building. They have no complaints.
I'm just going to say one thing.
No, that's more
let me
relevant.
just say
That's
one
more
thing.
relevant. What they have
They have
now is
residential
more
buildings
relevant.
uptown, not with small little brownstones nearby. They are in big buildings with
people living there.
with in big brick buildings, not tenement style buildings that have no insulation in them or anything else. They're old buildings that are heavily constructed with a lot of open space around them. Let me just finish. In them, it's a very different neighborhood with actually not wall to wall restaurants all around it infiltrating everybody. So you can say it's a residential building, but to try to compare the buildings that his restaurants are in up there to this little part of the West Village is a stretch, in my opinion.
All I'm saying is that all of his restaurants are in residential buildings. He doesn't have, there's still people, they still live there. And they have not complained. He has not had problems. They are some of his best customers. He has sidewalk cafes. He has large sidewalk cafes.
I saw.
They're not in the same street as this place. They're
No, and
different.
they're not walled
He's able to
restaurants all
operate.
next door, which is why everybody here is upset. I understand your legal.
Where he is on
I
the
am
west
just-
side, there are a lot of restaurants there.
Not the same way they are in the West Village with wall-to-wall roadbed and wall-to-wall sidewalks.
But you know that that's not a valid consideration here. You know
I'm
that.
just expressing, guys, hey, community, please, can we just not do this? You did it at your meeting, please, because this is long enough. I understand what you're saying. I'm just speaking.
Donna, can I have one
Yes,
question?
you can.
It has come up and you said a couple times anyway, that they've signed a lease. And is there a contingency clause in this lease or not? Because the way you're saying it, it sounds as if there's no way out.
No, they're not giving up the lease.
They're not what?
They're not walking away from the lease.
I didn't ask you
Wow.
that. I said, is there a contingency clause?
They're not walking out of the lease. I don't,
So you're not answering the question. Thank you.
So let me just go back to just a few things that maybe we can just talk about. What are they going to do for soundproofing? I mean,
do you have an answer for that? Question is about soundproofing.
excuse me?
They asked about soundproofing for your 35 seats.
So
I just want to say one thing, Donald. There's no reason to, that was a little inappropriate. It's not just 35 seats. It's going to be out, look at,
It's very frustrating. Questions I get are designed to just find a way.
this is not, look at, I'm just trying to find out what. Can I just get some of the information about I mean, we ask about the soundproofing for every place that comes in here when it hasn't been licensed before. So there's nothing, I mean, you know what? I don't even know why you bothered to show up tonight with that attitude, quite frankly. So why don't you please, if you want, you're a neighborhood
Yes.
person, you live in a residential building, you operate there. What I'm trying to find out is what plan you have. This has never been a restaurant with 35 people from morning till night operating as a restaurant. So I'm just trying to find out what the plan is for the soundproofing, if you have.
So soundproofing, we're gonna put a special foam on the ceiling, and after that, we're gonna put layers of quiet rock, which is a special drywall for soundproofing. And also, we're not gonna have some state-of-the-art equipment. We're gonna have like 4 small speakers, and that's it. Very background music.
Okay, and then you're not going to use, if I understand correctly, the Perry Street side door, that
No.
little door there was not yet used.
Entrance is on,
Will the staff be using that door, or it won't be, it'll just be an emergency door?
it's gonna be emergency door.
Okay. And then what about the other concern that I heard was the deliveries and trash pickup? What's the plan for that?
Trash, I already spoke, so we have a basement. We're gonna put our trash down in the basement, and we're just gonna put it out.
It'll be picked up during the day, or it will be picked up in the evenings? That's what I'm trying to.
Usually our company that we are using, M&M, they're picking up like between 10 and 11 PM.
At night, yeah.
That's we take out the garbage can around like 10:30, and after that they picking up.
And then they'll
pick
go
up,
back
yeah,
in
yeah.
when somebody comes
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
morning. Okay. And the food deliveries, they'll be on Hudson Street as well.
Yes, yes.
So the Perry Street door isn't being,
Perry
and then-
Street is only emergency door.
okay, and then the access to the basement is,
We have stairs from inside, from
so the deliveries will go through the.
only
front-
deliveries are from Perry because we have to put them in the basement.
Right, so
but-
that's what I was, so there'll be, the deliveries will happen on Perry
No,
Street?
no.
No?
No, that's
Okay.
only for deliveries of the from the vendors. So we're gonna use it to put it
Yeah,
to
that's-
store it in the
my-
basement. Delivery, if we have takeout delivery, like.
No, I don't mean that. I'm asking about your
Oh, no,
vendor,
this we
like your
have a
food
hatch,
delivery.
we're gonna use the hatch, yes. for
So the
delivery.
food deliveries
Yeah.
will happen on Perry
Yeah,
Street?
yeah.
Okay. And then if you're doing all your takeout deliveries
yeah.
and that
That
will
hatch
go.
is gonna
that
be
will
only
go
for
from Hudson
deliveries,
Street.
yeah.
Okay. All right, I think that's it for my questions. Does anybody on the committee have anything else? Nope. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The next application is going to be Forest Solutions. No, not that.
Is that next?
Actually, it is. I. Oh, you're wrong.
Yes. One second. Okay, all right. This is the Torno Rolex store on 9th Avenue that currently, I'm sorry, with me is Jim Catton, who is the owner of the applicant, which currently has a.
What is
bottle
Jim's
club license.
last name again? I'm sorry.
CATON.
Okay.
Right? Caton. It currently has a bottle club license. And for those of you who don't know what that is, bottle club license allows a dry store to serve alcoholic beverages to its customers. It's required to do so at no charge, and no food is required for a bottle club license. So some dry stores have them. And Tourneau applied for this, I think, in 2019. No, 21, I think, in 2021. And they were issued a bottle club license. They entered into a stipulation with this board. Jim's company is more or less, for these purposes, a staffing and operating company. So Tourneau, from when they first started operating, was using Jim to staff the bar. The store is not large. It has a bar. It has about 4 stools. And the only place anyone who is shopping there can get a drink is to go to that bar and be served. And what I'm told is that at any given point in time, there usually are not more than 3 or 4 people that are having a drink in the store. There's not a crowd of people. They're not a group of people that are going. But Jim has been basically running that operation since they started. Tourneau now wants to just effectively transfer the license to Jim. They don't need to have the license in their name. Although this is not being done as a transfer, we're just filing a new license application for the bottle club. The store will still be owned and operated by Tourneau. There are not going to be any changes. No one in the public is going to notice any change. The staff that's there is going to be the staff that will be working there. Jim was in charge before. He's still in charge of just the beverage service. He has nothing to do with the sale of watches, and the hours are the same. Everything is the same. The only difference, as I told Donna and Zach, and when I advised them of this, is that the stipulation from 21 restricted it to just, even though it's a full liquor license, the bottle club, to just wine. They would like the opportunity, when available, to serve spirit. They will not serve shots. They are not serving shots, will not serve shots. They have a maximum of 2 drinks per customer.
They're keeping
So no
that.
one can just sit at the bar and hang out.
Are you going to stipulate to that
We will
still?
stipulate to that, yes. But, you know, these watches are kind of expensive. I'm told that the average customer comes in, 2 or 3 times, 4 times before they make a purchase. So we want to make them a little happy.
Give them 4 scotches.
Yeah,
first.
and if someone spends $25,000 on a watch and they want to have a scotch in the rocks, sure, why not? No one's going to Tourneau on 9th Avenue for the purpose of drinking. And because it's a small store and it's a small bar and there is security, and by the way, Jim's staff is tips trained. So they know what they're doing. And that's it.
So just the hours are 11 to 6, and then on Sunday, and they close at 7 still, right?
Yeah, same.
Nothing's changed. There's no outside, there's no televisions.
All the same.
There's no bottle service. Everything's the same.
Yeah, and we can stipulate no shots, 2 drink maximum per person.
Okay, maybe I'll put that, no shots. All right. Okay, does anybody from the committee have anything? Okay. Were you there today? I'm just the elephants. Have you seen the elephants in the neighborhood?
No.
You may have fun in the neighborhood. It's great. They've got these life-size elephants. It's a project. It's really pretty cool. Good. That's it. All done. Bye. Thanks. Okay, the next application is going to be Chillhouse 75 Varick. It's a restaurant wine, previously unlicensed. Harry, is there anything that you didn't send in to us that's in this package? Okay, then I don't need it.
The applicant, Chillhouse 75 LLC. This is the manager, Bailey. This
is a,
She's not a principal. She's just the manager.
she's the manager, yes.
Not just the manager. She's the
Yes.
manager.
This is,
What is her name again, since her name is?
Bailey, Iley, Olander, sorry. Olander,
Okay.
Lander.
Okay.
This license was previously approved in 2019. This is Chillhouse is a nail salon and wellness cafe. They've been open since 2019. They have, nail services and they have a infrared sauna, some other services in there. And then they have a cafe. The cafe they had opened, they were approved for the tavern wine license, for the cafe license. And then the pandemic happened and they couldn't have the in-person, the treatment services. So they couldn't do that. So they closed that part of it. They reopened gradually. They reopened the cafe and they've been serving their.
So that's why they just never moved forward with it.
So they're applying, they're following the process and reapplying and re-notifying. Everything's the same. The hours they close during the week. So this is one change in the application. It says 8 p.m. close. It's actually 9 p.m. during the week. It's going to be 9 p.m. throughout for the allowed hours, but they close on Saturday at 8 p.m. and then Sundays at 6 p.m.
So, but you want to keep the hours 8 to 9, 7 days?
Yeah, just in case if there's they have bachelor girls come in and do their nails before the wedding and things like that. So, and that's it. Everything else is in the application. It was again previously approved and it's in the resolutions and stipulations that are on the record from that.
Okay, so there's no DJs, no live music, no promoted events.
No.
No scheduled performances, no third-party promoters, none of that. It's just the nail salon. And there's no outside and there's no operable doors or windows.
There's no
TVs and everything else. Okay. All right. Is anybody, Katie?
The application says no private parties, but you just mentioned bachelorettes. So does the bachelorette ever buy out the spa or?
It's more for they're coming in and doing their services and having a glass of champagne before I didn't mean bachelor party. I meant a bridal party before a wedding or something like that. It's a wellness studio.
So they're not buying out the
No,
space? Okay, that's what a private party is usually.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Just I'm in a group,
Okay. Anybody else? Adam? What? Go ahead. No, I just was going to say, so who are the principals on this? Adam Fulton?
and Sydney
Is that it? Are those the only principals on here?
There's about 40 people and there's a holding company, a very big company that acquired and bought out all the partners. I'm not at liberty to say
Okay.
that. Cindy is the CEO and she runs the business.
Okay. All right. Carter, did you have
Yeah, I
anything?
was going to say that apparently you've been having events at the space with alcohol. And you also submitted a renewal notice to us, even though the license was never issued, your office did. So we're just wondering if you guys had permits for all those events where they had alcohol?
The only thing that they would have had is a catering permit. They've never had a license. If there was a renewal, that was a mistake.
So who was operating those events? Because it looked like they were using outside promoters and outside people were renting the space.
I have no idea.
Well, I mean, can we find out? I mean, those are.
I'm sure we could find out. I don't have that information.
Okay, because if you're renting out the space and you're saying you're not going to, but if that's a regular part of the method of operation, shouldn't that be included in what we're discussing?
That's not a regular part of their operation. Once they're licensed, that's not a part of their operation.
So they will not be renting out the space?
They will not be renting out the space.
Okay, let me go to the public. I have Darlene Lutz. Oh, wait, go ahead. I'm sorry. Wait 1 second.
I'm looking at this certificate of occupancy.
Mhm.
Is all of these are floors in one building?
Yeah, it's all one building. They have a TCO, but they're getting eating and drinking for that floor. Which it's in process right now.
Because I'm just noticing there's a daycare in the building.
I don't think there's a daycare in there. I think this formerly was a daycare. The premises was previously.
But is there a daycare in this building?
There is no day. There's
Okay,
not.
That would be my
not to my
concern
knowledge.
if you were
Right.
applying for liquor.
Right. I think that's a UG6 use, so you can convert between the uses. But they have a TCO, so and all one filed.
Thanks.
Huh?
That's not what you've submitted. She's reading right off of what Dr. Smith is reading right what you gave us.
Okay.
It says daycare on there. It's also expired in some time ago. Expired in 2019.
Yeah, that's the TCO. That's the original TCO.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Mike Knight. Good evening, everybody. Darlene Lutz. I live at 80 Varick Street. This is across from 75 Varick. The location of Chillhouse. I'm going to read from the email that I sent, and which is to put everybody at ease because I'm not a great public speaker. Chillhouse opened in November of 2019. So it has been operating since then. That's almost 5 years ago when they came here for the liquor license. Yes, we had the little blip of COVID, but people have got to stop talking about it because they've been, operating for the last couple of years. Chillhouse anchors the north end of 75 Varick at Watts Street. The south end is anchored by the Jackie Robinson Museum. This is an enormous building. You can look it up on Google. It was originally One Hudson Square. It was going to be the flagship of Hudson Square, but I guess they decided to remove that sort of designation. I don't know why. But there are many liquor license spaces within 75 Varick. There is also a space next door to it. It was a food operation, and it looks like it's going to be another one. It hasn't been settled yet, I guess. But, and there's also talk of an Equinox going into the building of 75 Varick. So anyway, this is basically a nail salon, and I know this was approved. I read the November, what was it, 21st, 2019. In that, there was some question about whether the C of O allowed that particular space in the building to be used in the group for, what was it, specialty veg? I'm sorry, Carter, could you? It's in the, something about, the deny unless it was, that was cleared up about the C of O, but, Chillhouse was included in the FYI renewals. Yeah, they already discussed that. They look like they were, I've been in there several times. I actually stroll in and, I tend to photograph and video a lot what's going on in my neighborhood. So yeah, their main business seems to be renting the space out for events. I mean, they've had events. Netflix has had an event there. So these are not little bridal parties. This is an event space, and that building has many event spaces in it. And I feel like this is just, in 2019, it was sort of November of 2019. I was like, why didn't I pay more attention to this? And I was like, oh yeah, I was coming off 2 years of Chitano across the street. So you'll forgive me. It was November, and I was like decompressing. I failed to find the license. So, it's kind of like, maybe they had a catering license while they were serving alcohol in the last, wine or whatever in the last couple of years. I don't know. I don't care. I'm questioning whether a nail salon should even have a beer and wine at all. At this point, my views have changed. I mean, everybody get in their silo. There's everybody get back in their silo. If they want a liquor license, then if they want this beer wine license, we all know that, that's dipping of the toe and the alcohol comes next because, hey, we operated just great. And suddenly I've got a fully licensed 3,500 square foot retail space on the ground level across the street that's holding promotional events. So one of the other considerations is that, don't know if they ever got Sappos, they have huge crowds on the street. We have all that on film. Don't know if they, license, but one of the biggest issues for us in the residential building across the street is that portion of 75 Varick, and I believe I included a picture in my email, is the bus stop for the M20. And, where is the bus?
So it sounds like the big concern here is the events that have been going on.
The events, yes, and also the vehicles that the events bring.
Right, but, okay.
Go into the bus lane, and then they're so used to, because we have some hours each day when the bus will not stop there because of the Holland Tunnel traffic.
Right.
These are all combined, and we've been trying to iron these issues out. The more presence of more vehicles there, we're getting to the point where we think they might just take the bus stop away because it interferes with business. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Questions? Comments? Okay.
Go ahead, Karen.
I'm concerned about the events that they're not being disclosed, and the principals aren't here to talk about it, and you're not aware of them. So it
Yeah.
seems that that's.
So, but promoted events, you mean renting the space out to a third party to come in and take over the space? These are brand partnerships with people. They don't take over the space. They're launching a product. But
that's an that's an event that brings the cars and a bunch of people at the same.
I understand. They're not private events. They from time to time, they will launch a new product and people will want to come buy the product. I mean, it's they don't have a liquor license right now, and they do these things without alcohol most of the time. And sometimes they have a product that launches that people want to buy. The product, their main product are the nails, the press-on nails. They sell them in Target. They sell them all over. They're very popular products. People in the neighborhood want more businesses that are not bars and restaurants. This closes at 9 p.m. I mean,
What I'm just trying to do though, when it is from what I'm hearing in one side, right? And then what I'm reading in the application, I was not, I mean, I don't know if I was on the.
Well, there's no private events that are brought out.
Just on the.
Right.
But if there's an event, it's open to the public. So the one thing I'm going to say, I'm just going to put this out there. Okay, go ahead.
No, that's fine. Events are open to the public.
So anybody can.
They don't
come in.
have private guest lists. They don't.
So you don't
They
have
have
to reserve.
product launches. They have different types of things that are fully in line with a part of their business. If they launch a new nail product, people want to come get the nails put on their.
Right. No, I
part of the business.
understand that.
Mhm.
So if they're doing that, it's some kind of an event that anybody can come into.
Correct.
Do people reserve ahead of time for it? Is it a list? How does?
But it's based on occupancy. It's based on capacity. They have to, you can't just let everybody in. They're open to the public.
No,
They can come.
I understand.
I don't know how they run their events.
So
It's-
here's the
It's a
reason.
small part. It's not a big part of the business.
So that's sort of what I'm trying to get at is just so have a clear understanding of the application so we can work out any issues that there might be with the app.
Sure.
How many times do they do these events?
I think probably, I don't know, once a year. Product launch.
What?
Couple times a year.
So if there was a stipulation that said there would not be more than X amount of events,
Sure.
how many events? and the principal is not here, which is the other,
why don't we put it in as 4 and then they'll,
4 events. Okay.
that's once a quarter, that's a couple.
And is there anything else?
But again, these are not buyouts. These are not, you know,
No, but
outside
I
from-
mean,
that's fine.
whether
yeah.
it's a buyout or not, I'm just, you know, if you're having an event, I mean, I walk around all the time and all of a sudden you see a line down the street because
understand.
there's some pop-up store that has no alcohol involved or anything else. There's just
I understand.
a
Yep.
line down, and that's what, you know, bothers people that are trying to get the bus in the community. It's not
Understood. Understood.
know,
We're in agreement.
that it's a buyout. Okay, does anybody else have anything?
I do have a question. You said that they don't serve liquor most of the time at these events. So that means that you're aware that they might have served liquor?
I'm not aware of anything like that. No.
So this is really hard when we don't have
I
the
understand.
people who are in charge who can
understand.
answer our questions. This is really very difficult.
I
How
understand.
do
If
we
they
make
have,
decisions?
they've probably gotten a catering permit. I'm not aware when they have or haven't, but most of these things they do, and they've been operating for 5 years. You know, over there, they've been operating for 5 years without any alcohol. It's a wellness, so it's a wellness studio and a nail salon. This is exactly what the community wants. Exactly what the community wants. They want different types of businesses that are not bars and restaurants. This is not. This is an ancillary. It's an ancillary product line that helps them pay the bills. This is exactly what the city needs.
I
But understand your
don't
question.
disagree, but it's still very hard not to have answers to particular questions, which you
understand.
can't provide.
I understand.
Yep.
I understand.
Hello, this one, any better? Just have to hold it very close. Very close. I'm trying to figure out how you are serving.
How they will be serving.
I see the kitchen, you might say. I think it's labeled cafe.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, that's not where people are sitting. That's not where people, there's a serving bar.
There's a counter, that's their coffee counter, that's where it'll be served, and then they have little couches in the seating area, correct? Where people can order and then they can sit on the little couches there.
Okay, so the
There's no
coffee
stools at the bar.
counter is actually food,
Yes.
beer, wine, the whole enchilada at the
yes,
coffee bar.
And they do like matcha
Coffee counter.
lattes and turmeric lattes and all of that stuff. Coffee-based drinks and non-coffee-based drinks.
Okay, so the food is going to be, your server is going to pick up the food in the cafe kitchen, which is off limits to the customers, right?
Yes,
And then they'll carry it out and deliver it and so forth.
that's right.
All right. There's a recycling center, trash. But that's not like a normal restaurant station.
No, I mean, it's not a restaurant. It's not a sit-down restaurant. It's a cafe. That's the appropriate term for it. It's a cafe, and it does have cafe hours as well.
I guess the only other question I have is it intended that the customers get their drinks and food served in the massage rooms or the nail salon or all
No,
those
they don't.
other rooms?
They don't serve past the, there's a doorway that leads into the nail
So
service
it's
area.
limited to the lobby.
That's right.
Thank
The cafe, yes.
Okay, so it's just in that front area. Okay, I think does anybody else from the committee have anything? Katie, do you have anything else?
If you're getting a pedicure, wouldn't someone bring you a glass of champagne?
I don't know how they're planning on doing it, but at least my understanding of at least my understanding is you're not supposed to serve where they have the services.
Okay,
That's a
so there's not,
DOH.
is that a definitive answer? Can she answer anything? Does she?
Well, this is with respect to the services of the.
I mean, Harry, you're here without the principal, so any questions we have can't be answered. This is really difficult. But you don't know. You might be authorized to answer, but if you don't know the answers, it
Well,
doesn't do me any good to have you be authorized. I'm
They're not-
sorry.
Understanding to serve in the service area, and that's a DOH thing. So only
What I
it's
thought.
only the
So it's
cafe.
only in that front area.
It's
You
only the
can't
cafe,
bring it
yes.
over, once through that door that's over on this other
Correct.
side. You can't.
Because they'll have storage and stuff, they have to license the entire premises, correct?
Right, I got that. So it's just in the front area.
And there's other DOH requirements with you have to have
Right.
separation and
Right.
different.
Okay. Okay, I think that does it, everybody? Okay, thank you.
Sure, thank you guys.
Okay, the next application is going to be Foursome, New York City LLC, 9 Jones. On premise for restaurant.
Hey, guys.
Here.
Yes. This is audio, I need video. Yes, the hours, we had a meeting with the Block Association.
Okay.
Friday. And then we considered 2 meetings.
I can't say no. We can, this is
He's able to answer all of your questions. Right here.
not able to meet her. She couldn't be here. She's
She
overseas
she
or
had
something.
family issue in Turkey. She had to go back to his no. I'm sorry? Yeah, she can hear you, and it's 2:00 in the morning, sir. Can you hear me? Say hello.
But we can't, I'm just going to say one thing, Frank, this is,
Yeah, it's unusual.
yeah, I mean, it's real, and we're not doing a hybrid meeting, but he's going to file the application. So, he couldn't lay it over. So this is where we're at. I asked.
But
I did
Thank
ask.
you for what you did, and I have to say, we've been very cooperative.
So
not
let's
to
just,
lose the month.
let's just have the meeting. This is what we're.
Turkish restaurant, it was previously a restaurant 2 times, I believe. So it's a previously licensed location.
You have to be on the microphone
I'm sorry.
and
It's an authentic Turkish restaurant. Specializing in Turkish breakfasts, light lunch, and full dinners. This is Oya Mungin, who's here with us this evening on my phone. And as I said, we had a very productive, but as I said, disjointed Zoom meeting. It was broken up. It was difficult to get into, and then we lost it at one point. But we did come to a agreement with the residents, and I'm sure you have it. And I think in the interest of time, I'll be happy to answer, or Oya will be happy to answer any questions you might have.
why don't you start with, what's the difference in the hours?
The hours are the same. Actually,
I thought you
we're
said,
opening at 8:30. The Block Association wanted us to open at 9 instead.
so you're
it's
opening
totally
at
different.
9 and then you're closing at 12 Sundays
during the
and
week
Thursday
And 1:00 in the weekends.
Friday and Saturday. Okay.
Correct.
So then I'll just go through, the doors are closed at all times. There's no patron use of the basement. The door to the common hallway will be alarmed so that it's just an emergency exit. Alarmed, like a push alarm on it.
I don't
So
know
it's
the occupancy is big enough for that. I don't think it's only 73 persons, I believe.
well, why can't you do it? I mean, if it's, is that something I can't ask you to do?
No, but it's just.
Because it's going into the residential hallway, right?
Do you know if the door that leads into the residential hallway It's called a panic bar. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, yeah.
Has a panic bar or push bar on it? Where it's on the first floor downstairs.
No, it looks like it's right here. It looks like it's right here. Way. You know, see?
No, no, there's a door that goes to the corridor. The apartments upstairs. Does that have a push bar on it? Yes.
Yes, okay. Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, you have to put the, she's talking, you
I
have
was
to put.
afraid of feedback, but okay.
Okay, so. What do you want me to do? Huh? Right, this is right, then this, and we can't do, I mean, this, what you're doing right now, we're not talking to her because she's not here. She can listen and everything, but this is like doing a Zoom meeting and we don't do this. We can't, I told you that. I was very, everybody's gonna be starting to do this.
No one else will ever do it again, I promise. But listen.
So let me,
but listen,
I can't, you
I have to
may
just-
not do it again, but anybody else who's listening
it
next
just-
week, next month.
But I just have to say, in all honesty, we agreed to a stipulation that we would never agree to not to lose a month.
So let me
She
just,
can't afford
that's what you said to me. That's why I said we just deal with it and see what the committee says at the meeting. So there are 17 tables and 42 seats and 10 seats at the bar. So there's 52 people. There's no, you're authorized to speak for her, correct?
Yes,
Then
she's right there.
I know that, but I'm not doing it this way. I told
Okay.
you that.
Yes.
She can listen, and if I need her to speak to something, then she can do
Okay.
it, but I'm not doing it that way. You're
Yeah.
authorized.
I'll just,
Okay.
I thought I could put it down at that point.
And then there's no outdoor. She may want outdoor sometimes, so she's not going to sign something that says there will never be outdoor. But they want to they won't have sidewalk, and they want to reserve the right to have roadway seating in the future, but they have agreed not to apply for it for 5 years and would come back to us for it.
That is correct.
That's correct. Okay. There will be private parties, no more than one a month and 4 times in December. There will be live music played only during Saturday, Sunday brunch, ending at 3 p.m. with no amplification. Is that acoustic only?
Acoustic only.
No
amplification.
brass, no percussion, no brass. That's what we mean by, but you can ask her.
No, but to me, acoustic means no amplifiers.
Right, what we
You're
mean
saying
is.
specific instruments?
Yeah, we're saying because a horn down there, it's
just tell me
it's,
what you
yeah,
want.
no
Brass?
horns, no percussion, no
No
brass.
horns, no percussion in your live music. Acceptable? Yes.
Okay. And I think that covers what the community gave me. Now, it says DJs, why?
They're basically for private parties.
Okay, I'm going to personally speak for myself because it does say background music only, and I'm going to say I would love to see those DJs removed because once there's a DJ in a place, it's loud. I'm sorry, but
It's not a DJ, and we explained this to the Block Association, in the sense of a DJ. It's a person just hits a button on a computer.
Okay.
He's not shouting out. He's
You
not.
want to know what? I don't know how the committee feels. I've been in enough places and told this enough times that they swear that it's just what you just said and it's background music only, and I can hear it in my apartment across the street. So for me personally, I don't trust it. And it's just for private parties. It's not her method of operation. She's only having a few private parties. I don't know why she would need a DJ in the restaurant.
Plus, it's easier to book a private party if you can tell them you have someone playing music.
Well, most restaurants, they have private parties and things, but people that come to us without DJs as method of their operation do not have DJs when they do the private parties. People are
The
sitting there having a private
restrictions-
party.
Restrictions that we agreed to with these very nice people are so difficult.
They're not
for us.
difficult. It's running actually a
There's
restaurant.
no outdoors. I'm agreeing to restrict my outdoors for 5 years when I don't have to. We all know I don't have to, but I'm agreeing to do it.
Well, I don't. I
I'm
mean,
just
I
saying,
don't.
I'm just saying, how much can you take away from us?
Well, I'm just gonna say right now that I'm not even gonna bother.
Okay.
I mean, DJs in restaurants to me, especially if it's a private party, is a problem. That's for me. You've got people that live right upstairs. This is not, it's on a little tiny street that I walked by yesterday just to see what the space was like. I don't know how it's soundproofed. How is it soundproofed? Is it soundproof for a DJ to be
It's
in?
currently soundproof from before, yes.
For a
From the
DJ,
prior operator.
For a DJ.
I
But
don't
what's-
know if the prior operator had a DJ. I'm not going to tell you. that they did. I don't know.
Okay, I'm done with Mike.
Have a lot of comments.
Okay, go ahead, Katie.
First time I went to this place was 1978. It's very large and it's like a drum. It's long and it could be very loud. It was Sandalinos in those days. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but anyway, would you please describe the private party business plan?
The private party's what?
Business plan. How many times a year?
I think we agreed, what do we agree to? 4 times?
No more than 1 a month and 4 times in December.
Okay, I wasn't on email
Yeah,
today,
no,
so I might not
okay.
have seen
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, that's
Okay. I think that the hours are too late. This is a very quiet street. I think should be 11 and 12. I don't agree with 12 and 1. Does the staff have access to the rear yard? There's a door into the rear yard that I saw.
Yes, we're not using the rear yard.
So the staff will not.
Staff won't have access to it.
Okay, good. You know, the last time we heard this, I looked back. We had approval from the condo association. I only saw one signature from 9 Jones Street on this. So what are the people in the building saying? I'm not the block association, the people in the building.
She's met with the neighbors in the building. No one's objected to this premises.
No one sent us up.
No one, I presume no one sent you objections to the.
No one
by email.
approved it either. They're not on the petitions.
Can't hear. I'm very sorry.
There's no approval on the petition from the residents.
Okay.
So we don't know. I mean, I know you're an upright guy, but they didn't communicate with us.
But you don't know about one specific building, and that's the point you're raising.
Well, I think the point she's raising is she doesn't know about the specific building that they're located in, which might be the most impacted building of all the buildings. I'm just clarifying the building.
Yes.
we're talking about.
That's very important.
I think this block association did a great job for that entire building and the neighborhood.
I like the block. I admire and respect the block association.
They
I'm
did an
asking
excellent
about
job.
9 Jones. I am asking about the apartments in 9 Jones Street. And I don't have anything in writing from them.
And this was, of course, posted in the neighborhood. And not a single person in that building sent you an email or showed up today to object to this, correct? Have you met your neighbors who live in the building?
The agreement with the co-op. So that's why I know a couple of people from there, and I got the agreement about the noise, about the waste and everything. We already have a deal with the co-op.
She said she has an agreement in place with the condominium. Before she signed the lease, she had to meet with them. And she also signed with them.
Okay, but we don't have that. Go ahead. Hang on.
And normally the condominium association sent us a letter and they did the last time this came before us.
You asking if anybody. It's Katie Raycar, 9 Jones. You did. Okay, so that answers that much.
Well, it's one person. It's not the condo association. Okay. Anybody else from the committee? Carter?
How did your client find the space?
How did you find the space, Oya?
With the broker.
With the broker.
Okay. I just, I mean, the history here at this location, I mean, they never followed the stipulations. They had bottle service, they had events, celebrities, all this other stuff. Changed into everything they weren't supposed to do. So I just a little.
We're not affiliated with those people. Do you know those people? Do you know those people? The prior operators. Oya, do you know the prior operators?
No.
Done. Okay. Are we removing the DJs or no?
You're killing them.
I'm killing
It's
them.
not fair.
I'm asking the question you can answer.
Now the community board would like to make a further demand upon you, Oya. Will you remove the DJs altogether?
Remove the DJ?
Altogether, no DJs.
I mean, she can always come back, Frank, after a year, but I mean,
but no providing.
Say that again, say that again,
Deal, right?
say that again, please.
We already had a deal for the DJ last, the Friday.
Correct. And I think that if we push too hard, we're gonna lose that deal.
Private parties should be exceptional.
That's a position.
Huh? Okay, so,
That's
so
a position.
What was the
what
answer?
was her answer? Because we,
Her answer was she only wants the DJs for the private party.
right,
She made that agreement with the Block Association. She thinks that's a fair agreement.
okay, okay. And I'm just going to say, well, I'm not gonna.
I still think the hours are too late. I don't like the hours on that quiet street.
Okay, we have Leslie here from the public. Why don't we let Leslie speak and then, are you going to speak?
Hello, yeah, I'm Leslie Clark from West Village Residents Association. I was one of the people on the call. These are the things that we agreed to that you mentioned. The double set of doors will be closed at all times. There are 2 sets of 2 doors. So there are 4 doors, full length doors, French doors that they should be kept closed at all time. No live music, private parties only once a month and 4 times. We did agree to the hours and we also asked them to delay roadway seating for 5 years and have no sidewalk seating. If you want to actually make an issue of the DJ, we tried to make an issue out of the DJ. No microphone, no microphone, no microphone, no amplification at any time of any sound. These are the things that we asked them to stipulate to, and they did stipulate to us. Thank you.
I'm not gonna stand up.
Hi, my name is David Gruber. I also was at the Zoom meeting with Frank and his client. I just want, when is she coming back? When is she coming?
I'm gonna find out. Okay. Oya, when are you returning from Turkey?
Sorry?
When are you returning?
Monday night.
Thank you. Monday night.
Monday night, okay, because I want to make sure she signs all these stipulations before full board. This is important to us because there is a lot of them and we don't have any experience with her. And so I want to make sure that's done and she'll be back Monday night. And otherwise, there's nothing more I want to say. Thank you all.
Thank you. David, your address.
I'm sorry.
Where do you live? What is your address?
Oh, I
Dr.
can't
Smith
say
is
that in
asking.
public. 5 Carmine Street. Nothing, I'm just.
It's okay.
Sure,
All right.
it's okay. Shirley.
Okay, come on.
I mean, Dr. Smith.
All right, does anybody from the committee have anything else? No. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Next one, sir.
Never again. That
No,
was your
I'm
one
just-
card.
I apologize.
And
Thank
I just also want to say that she couldn't meet in person with the community and she's not known in the neighborhood. She couldn't meet in person with the community and she also is new, you know, she doesn't have other places in the community. So next time, try to
It's not gonna happen
see
again.
how.
It's not gonna happen. Again. This was one time and I know what the rent is
Okay.
there.
Okay, okay. All right, done. What?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
No. Do you
not-
want
you're
to
never-
tell every other?
I'm
attorney
never
that's
gonna allow
here
it again.
to-
It's only a president if it's allowed to happen again.
That's why, I mean,
I apologize to the board. I don't know what to say.
anyway, okay, we're done.
We're done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next one is Hiramant's Farm Kitchen, 183 Christopher.
Say hello. Yeah, say hello. Introduce yourself.
Hello. Hi,
Introduce yourself, please.
my name is Andrea Cohen. What else would you like? Well, Frank, are you going to say something first?
You
or-
need- just, if you're good, you just need to hold the microphone like,
I'm sorry, what?
you need to keep the microphone.
Okay, I'll hold it like this. My name is Andrea Cohen. I own Bongo, which was around the corner from this location. I was there for 10 years. I live in the neighborhood and we're reopening this place. It's called Herman's Farm Kitchen. It was Herman's Farm Purveyors. It was there for 6 years from 2014 to 2020. We closed right before COVID. So it was sitting there for a little while. So we reopened it and we are doing, it's an event space. We're applying for a beer and wine license.
It's
catering.
it's
catering.
You gotta keep
It's
holding
just
that.
catering and it's going to be open periodically.
And before you was a beer and wine and liquor applications. 2 applications simultaneous. I think they put it on the agenda once as liquor because it covers
Well,
everything.
yeah, because we started but you're doing the beer and wine so you can get the temp.
Correct.
Right, that's right. So that's why we listed it that way. Okay, so it's going to be open from 8 AM to 1 AM. Doesn't
Hours,
mean it's,
hours are subject to booking, but we're not going past 1
you're
AM.
not going past 1 AM. Just to get, there's no outside.
No
With
outside,
this, you've removed that.
no outside. We took it off the application.
Okay.
Sorry?
No, keep going. That's a mistake. It says 10 people.
Oh, 10
And I
tables.
think
I'm
you mean
sorry.
10 tables when you go further. It's 50.
Wait a minute, no. Wasn't it the outdoor?
Yeah, it says,
I thought that's for the outdoor.
oh, no, people can get that confused. Yeah.
I thought that was the outside.
It's 10 tables and 50 seats
Correct.
and 1 bar with 4
bar stools.
seats. And, you're going to, there are operable doors, correct? There are are there operable windows, doors that open?
There are doors that open. Just the 2 front doors.
Just
The 2 front doors
like, there's not
open.
French doors.
There's
There's
2 French doors that open.
that open, which are the
Correct,
entrance.
correct. That's
There's
how you
not
get
a
into the
row
space.
of doors.
And I just want to also say that we do a lot of philanthropy. We do a lot of things with the neighborhood. We do, God's Love We Deliver. We do a lot of things with and chefs for Kids for Cancer and things like that. This is my partner right here. This is a lot of things that we've been doing for the last couple of years. So we decided to open the space and do, a lot of other things.
Okay, so then there's live music and DJs.
Yes.
Yes.
As booked. If someone wants a DJ or
Yeah,
live
you-
music for a party, yeah.
You have to use, yeah, right.
Is that one work too?
Yeah, I think it works. It might need to be turned on. Try,
Think
just do a little test and,
Testing.
yeah, there you go.
Better.
Okay, so that just brings me to my next question, which is
Mhm.
the soundproofing of the building. If you're,
Yes, there's
if you're gonna have
soundproofing.
DJs in there.
There's
or private
soundproofing.
event,
It's,
yeah.
it's a commercial building.
Right, yeah, no, I know.
There is one,
Isn't
there's
there-
an apartment above and that person signed our petition. There's 2 people that live there.
Okay,
So they have no problem with anything.
okay, and there's ample soundproofing for the,
Ample
It was
soundproofing.
put in
Ample
10 years ago.
soundproofing.
okay.
No, we just redid. the
And you
whole
redid it.
space. And I was there for the construction and there's a lot of soundproofing.
Okay,
It's excellent.
so you will have live music, you're gonna have 3 to 4 TVs in there, something like that. Is it sound?
They're like monitors and
No,
things.
no
Monitor.
TVs.
So
just
it's
monitors.
sound- some
monitors.
monitor.
Just for the event, with people bring in their information, they're
So
gonna
the
put
sound
up.
will be off on the TVs? No
There'll be
sound?
no sound.
No sound on the TVs?
No.
Okay. And
Are you sure about that? There won't be the music that's playing through the place?
No, there'll be music, but I mean, if
Not
there's
through the monitors.
monitors, there's
yeah, I think the
monitors and
music
it'll
would
just
go
be a
through the
visual.
speakers. I mean, I would think that the music would.
Well,
go
I'm figuring
through-
photo montages and stuff like that.
It'll
I
just
would-
be a visual of
Okay.
what
Just a
people
visual.
do. I mean, for instance, Kids for Cancer, they do a whole visual thing of things they do and, all of that. So
Right.
it's not loud.
Whatever sound goes with that will be going through your
Exactly.
speakers, not
Exactly.
through the monitors.
Exactly.
And then the only other question I'm going to ask is for these events, is there a traffic plan? Do we have to worry about it? I didn't check that.
Well,
50 seats.
there, it's a small space and only has 50 seats, so there's nothing.
That's
It-
25 Ubers potentially,
No, you're right, but
right by the West Side Highway.
if that, it
Yeah,
is
but-
by the West Side Highway. I live there. I've owned businesses there. I
Yeah, that-
do, you know, I understand what goes on there. And there's a lot of parking, but there's not a lot of people that live over in that particular area.
So you'll do something to manage.
Well, we have,
Yeah,
we have security.
Yeah, or just to.
When we
put
do
something
events,
in
we always
place in
have
case.
security and things like that.
But this is new to have an event space there. That's.
Right.
No, it is new.
So
We're not gonna let the cars
find out
line
that
up.
there's some traffic issues.
You're absolutely right. We will,
Some kind of plan in place or figure out
We
how
do.
you're getting people.
and we
in
will
out
have
for that.
security always, so.
Okay. I think that's it with my questions. Does anybody else have questions? Katie and Dr. Smith?
Hi,
Hi.
I noticed that you did not put price points on your menu. Any idea about pricing?
Well, it depends on the event and what the person is doing. It's not a menu for people to order off of. You know, we do like a per person pricing, but it really depends. And we also
It
do,
wouldn't be the same for every
it
park.
would never be the same, but we also do a lot of,
You
don't
told
charge
me
any-
philanthropy.
we do a lot of
You don't.
philanthropy.
I
We do
heard
not
that.
charge anyone.
I see.
So
So it would depend on what they order.
it
and
depends on what they do.
Corporate would be higher and
It
small.
depends on what they do. I've been doing that for a long time. You know, events and per person events and things like that. So.
Okay, so how many events are you going to be catering a month out of this space?
Sorry, say that again?
How many events are you gonna be catering a month? As many as you can.
Not with people.
I
in
would
there.
like to say as many as I can, but realistically, maybe 10 events.
Katie, wait,
I would
just-
say that would be maximum.
Just to be clear,
And then I'm going to ask the follow-up. And then how many private parties do you expect to have in the space? I mean,
All of them.
you've got two, I thought the catering would be going out.
No,
This
it
is a
would be in
catering
the space.
establishment, like a wedding hall.
But we also do catering that goes out, for
Okay.
sure.
this
So-
is a private event space with a catering license that is not open to the public.
That's right. So 10 times
Will
a
not be
month,
open to the public.
10 times a month, you expect people to.
I
you
can't
hope.
guarantee anything. I'm just
You hope
giving
that
you.
people well, I used to go to Bongo. I live
You did, and I know you well.
what-
And you've thrown lots of events at Bongo. I do a nice
Yeah,
job.
exactly. And have you spoken to Elaine? Has the Christopher Street Association given an approval on this?
Have I spoken to Elaine? No.
And because I think the hours are a little late. I mean, I know you're right next to the Rock Bar, but I think on the weekdays, you know, it's a quiet stretch.
I understand what you're saying, and I understand the hours seem late, but no event's gonna go that late. I'm just trying to get the maximum of what I can get from you. But honestly, an event will never go that late,
But
probably.
more importantly, you can't advertise an event that's gonna close at 11 o'clock. You'll never be able to sell it.
You know, I mean, I'm just saying that, I mean, you know,
I
know you
live on
know-
that
I
one.
know you know
Can't
what
do
I
it.
do, so.
I know. I mean, you know, it's a funny little corner.
I don't know when 1 o'clock became
It's a
early.
good question.
We have a brand new residential building going up right across the street. I'm just trying to
I
keep
appreciate,
the
I
conflict
appreciate
down.
that. But we didn't come in asking for 4 in the morning or anything like that.
Wait. What residential
You
building
know,
is opening
150
across?
Barrow, those windows are looking down.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I get it.
They're not in yet.
I get it, but
Okay.
it's not, it's, the neighborhood is, and you live in the neighborhood. Christopher Street is Christopher Street. There's a lot of people there. It has nothing to do with the businesses on the street. And you know that.
Okay.
I mean, you
Okay.
know that. So I'm just trying to explain that.
That was
It is
delicate.
what it
That was delicate.
Anybody else from the committee? I'll go to
It
the
would be
public.
nice if it were midnight on Sunday through Friday.
We can't, you restrict
Friday
our
through
ability to
Thursday.
have events.
She,
I hear you.
okay, so let me go to the public.
Thank
Okay,
you.
just go ahead, Carter.
So is this?
Yes.
So, with the Herman's Farms that was there before, is this also was this also, on Gansford Street in the food market?
Yes.
You represented him. That was Chris.
I don't know every,
Chris project. So that was the
Yeah, I didn't
central,
have a liquor license.
but that was the central
You know,
food.
it's the same thing.
You didn't, but I believe Chris did, who ran.
Chris, oh, Chris, yeah, yeah.
I don't know every shop.
It doesn't matter. You mean Chris,
One
Chris
of your-
that ran the whole thing, Chris?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That they had.
Why are we bringing him up? He has nothing to do
I'm
with
just saying
it.
no, because the farm has been in the neighborhood, the name.
Yes,
what
it
I'm saying.
has, it has.
And a
And we
part of
were,
that,
we were a tenant in that space.
right, no, but you were the.
We were the main
sold-
people in this.
You were sold as the main
I
tenant
know
at the
you
very
were.
beginning, right?
It was,
Golden
it
Acre,
was a
Golden
good
Acre.
thing. And we did the other place simultaneously at the same
Right,
time.
so what I'm just wondering, because just from my own memory of
Mm-hmm.
when you first came in 2013, you know, how is Herman's Farm, how is that involved in this? Because
Herman's
there
Farm?
was an actual farm,
It was
correct?
an actual
Right.
farm. And they
So-
actually have produce.
Right.
And they sell to lots of restaurants.
And are you
and-
using that
And
in this space?
We had, when we had the market, we used to sell everything.
Right,
But we're, you know, moving on to something else. But
okay.
we still use all their produce and, you know, it's,
I was just wondering if there was a connection to that, because you still have the same
Yes,
name
yes.
within
Yeah,
that.
there-
Because
there
I thought
is.
that was a compelling part of the past.
It's just a
So-
continuation of what it was, so.
All right, thank you.
Can I ask where the farm, is the farm located? Where
The
is?
farm is upstate New York. It's in
Where?
Tivoli, New York.
Oh, Tivoli, that's.
Just did a nice big hog roast there in May. Then I used my kitchen. It was,
And so you bring the produce down.
I'm sorry, what?
You bring the produce down
Produce is shipped down.
here.
The produce is shipped down.
They're shipped down
Mhm.
and then you're gonna use that.
We do, we use a lot of the
Some of
produce.
it? Okay. All right, now I'll go to the public. Leslie Clark. Yep, okay. Okay, so we don't have the public. All right, anybody else? Okay, I think we're good. Thank you.
Thank you all,
for your
guys.
time.
Much
Thank
appreciated.
you.
Okay. Next is One Jane LLC doing business as Sinico at 1 Jane Street. This is an on-premise for a bar tavern. Previously unlicensed.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Emanuele Bardazzi. I represent the applicant, 1G LLC, seeking a, sorry. Close. 1G LLC seeking a full liquor license at the same address, 1J. Here with me is Mr. Hamilton, the principal.
You have any of the applications with you?
No, we didn't bring it. There was a misunderstanding between, I thought he would bring it.
Okay,
He thought I would bring it.
okay, so we
Sorry
don't
about
have
that.
any.
But we know the application by heart, so you can
Yeah,
ask
but
away.
we may not. That's the issue is that we may not
Yeah,
know it by heart, so.
no,
Okay.
you want to ask questions, of
Okay.
course. So here is Mr. Hamilton and his wife, Georgia. They are the partners in this business. They are already running a very successful business of the same type, similar type in Madison Avenue, which has been very much appreciated by the public. I will leave to him to better describe the concept. What I want to talk about now is that I'm aware we submitted, we filed a 30-day notice. We checked a lot of boxes. Then we have a meeting with the Block Association of J Street. And following that meeting, we actually agreed, or we are in discussions to agree on a few points. The association sent us a few requests, and we are okay with most of them. I would like to go through them very quickly, and then leave the stage to Mr. Hamilton. So the association requested us to avoid live music, DJ. They say no entertainment level music, just background music. We are okay with that. The hours of operation that were agreed upon with them, it's 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday through Wednesday, and 4 p.m. to midnight Thursday through Saturday, and we are okay with that. The food must be ordered at tables. Yes, absolutely no problem with that. So not at the bar, just at the table. Reservation only, we are okay with that. Not operable windows, we are okay with that as well. I think,
What was that last one?
sorry,
What was the last one? You just said I got reservation only.
no operable windows.
Okay.
I believe they mean French windows. Yeah, we are okay with that. I think the only point that probably there is not a full agreement is the sidewalk cafe. They requested us to have only 2 tables on the sidewalk. What we would like to do is actually, sorry, a roadway cafe, and we believe that we have, I mean, according to our architect, we should have the right requirements for that in terms of, measurements, feet, and that kind of stuff. So what we could be open to agree is to establish a time after which we no longer serve alcohol on the sidewalk cafe. We will be okay with 10 p.m. every night. And then there was something about the events. They don't want us to do events, but I think that there was a misunderstanding about the meaning that we have in mind regarding the events. And I let Mr. Hamilton to better explain that. Other than that, we have agreed to all the requests of the association. And I'll leave the stage to Mr. Hamilton now so he can explain better the concept that he wants to do. If you have any questions, obviously, we are here.
Thank you, Manuela. Hello, members of the community. I am Ben Hamilton. I am the owner and president of the company. This is my wife, Georgia, not only as a partner in business, but mostly as a partner in life. First off, let me say that I am born and bred New Yorker. Funny enough, I didn't know the community board was here, but my grandmother was owner of Pepe Rosso, that now is Pepe Rosso. She used to be owner of the Bocconcino for almost 20 years, which unfortunately had to close down after the Twin Towers fell down. So I have a full recollection of this neighborhood. I know this area. I grew up running around on the steps of our restaurant here. So first of all, I love this area and I respect it. So I did hear about all what happened in Perry Street, the situation over there. I do feel sorry for that because we are first and foremost operators, but second of all, we love the idea of having something clean and pristine and elegant and not what has been described here today. So that is just an introductory speech on who we are, what we aim to do. As my lawyer Emanuela said correctly, we, as a misunderstanding, or maybe just as like innocently speaking, we spoke about like DJ and events. We apologize if that created some sort of like havoc, but we did not mean to do that as parties, clubs, and rightfully so, the Block Association told us you're a few blocks away from meatpacking, and people might think that this is a pre-meatpacking sort of location, and that's not what we intend to do. As Emanuela stated clearly, we also have another location on Madison Avenue, on 35th and Madison, location that has been open almost for a year now. We have a wine and beer there because we have the 200 feet rule. We're next to a church. So of course we applied for the minimum that we could apply for. And we have had nothing but compliments, and we are loved by the neighborhood. We're on our block. There are a ton of residential buildings. And of course, Park Avenue and they're all our customers. They all love us. The community board appreciates us. The Murray Hill Association appreciates us because we upscale the neighborhoods where we go to. In that matter, if I may, we are going to be opening next to a smoke shop that I pretty am aware that, you know, has been closed down because they were selling illegal products that did not have a license for. So we specialize in coming into areas that need more and need better. We don't want to bring worse, we want to bring better. And the smoke shop is definitely not what we want to do. We want to bring something to an area that has other offerings, absolutely, and it looks great. But we want to bring more because that's just what we specialize in doing. I do invite you, if possible, whenever you get a chance, to go on our website and get a sense of what we do, because our Chinico in Madison is really similar to what we're going to be creating on 1 Jane Street. It's called Chinico, Cinico, and it's located on 35th and Madison. I am open for any questions if you do have.
Yeah, I'll start. So explain, I did look at your website. It basically looks like it's very nice looking.
Thank you.
But it's primarily a coffee bar that closes at 9 o'clock.
So unfortunately, that's what we get mistaken for, because it is a really Italian/European concept where we do almost everything. We do a different schedule there because the neighborhood is more inclined to on the go kind of crowd. So we open early in the morning and we close approximately at 7 on a few days and 9 on other days. We have winter schedules that go until 9, and then in the summer it's until 7. That's what we do.
So in terms of your menu,
We serve food. We serve all sorts of food. We make everything, first of all. So we make our breads, we make them, our
it's a much
lasagnas, we
larger
make them.
space up there. There is a much larger space, but
Yes, it is.
here you're not going to have a full kitchen.
That is correct.
So
Even there, just if I can point it out, we don't have a full kitchen there either. Luckily, the type of food we make, it serves on a real plate, like it's like actual dining or lunching in this case, but it is made in a smart way that it's going to be made on site there and then supplied to this location and then assembled and heated and presented to the customer on site here.
So, okay, so then what is your vision for this place?
This place is going to be
part of, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
This
go
place is going to be a full service casual place. It's going to be casual in the service, meaning that it's not fine dining, but it's not a bar in any way. So we do aim to have the liquor because it's part of the offering, but it's not our main focus. We are not one of those places that has TVs where you can display, and all due respect for any kind of business, but we're not that. We're not trying to put TVs and have the sports bar crowd. We're not looking for that. We're looking for an elegant, high-end, pristine service where people can come and find what we like to call a third space. So the space where people can feel safe, enjoy their night or enjoy their afternoon, because we open at 4, and they can have a glass of wine, a drink, or eat a full course between main course, appetizers, and consequentially a drink or a glass of wine, or even a soda, whatever the case may be.
Okay. It just, there's a lot in this neighborhood already that is I mean, you pull, the smoke shop is the only thing that's come in there recently that is that way. Otherwise, there are a ton of restaurants right there. This place has never been licensed before. There's a nice Italian restaurant that just opened across the street. There's a wine bar. There's another Italian restaurant. There's another American restaurant. There's a ton of restaurants there. So
I totally agree on that. And I do also have a way of addressing that, if I may. We are not that kind of thing. Those are full-on restaurants with more offering than what we would have. Different kind of sensations, different kind of vibes, obviously, because they are restaurants. That's all they are. We
have a little bit of everything, except in this case, the morning things. We're not going to be doing breakfast with croissants and all that, but we are going to be offering a different type of food menu because we come from a specific region. Funny enough, this church is St. Anthony of Padua. We both lived in Padua in Italy. She's from Padua and I was raised partially there as well. So there's a few things that coincide today for us, but in any way, we have a different offering that comes from the northern part of Italy, which is really specific. It's not the same thing that you would eat at an Italian-American restaurant, at a Sicilian restaurant, at a Turkish or whatever the case may be. We have a different offering. So yes, we are a restaurant or a small restaurant, but we have a different offering. Therefore, we could fit in that space.
But you're not a restaurant.
Right.
Exactly. But we serve food.
You're a bar.
No, we are a full service casual place. I don't know. I wouldn't call
No,
it.
but I mean, you're not a restaurant because you don't have a kitchen under the supervision of a chef.
If I may,
You keep referring to
Yeah,
yourself
this
as a
is
restaurant,
technically-
but it is not a restaurant.
Yeah, technically it's not a restaurant. We have the food preparator, so.
Yeah, but it's, then
yeah,
why
it's
don't
not-
you look
it's not
for a
a-
place that has a kitchen and a restaurant to open this? I'm just confused.
If I may, just because we prepare things off site and then assemble them on site does not make us a non-eating place. A bar is a whole different thing. We have approximately 27 seats, and this is unfortunately where I kind of like collide with the vision of course, you members of the community, because there's not only black or white. It's not either a bar or a full-on restaurant. There's also in between areas such as our cafe bistro. It's more of a bistro. I know it doesn't
Well,
fall under.
I'm just going to say we have a bistro and we have a tavern and we have a wine bar right down the street that has a different kind. They serve full food, but they're not a full restaurant. It's a wine bar with other drinks now too and everything. So I'm just trying to understand it looks what you're doing here seems very different from what you're doing up on Madison Avenue.
It actually would be the same thing. It's just that we don't have a round circular bar, but we will still be serving coffee.
But
because
Madison Avenue, you open in the morning, which.
until in the evening though, we open until 9 p.m. So because the concept is not a coffee place, it's not a restaurant, it's an in-between. And that will be sort of what we will be bringing at One Jane. Of course, we adapt because it's part of also adapting to where you're going, and One Jane Street is not necessarily a place where people wake up at 6 a.m. to have breakfast. And also, I mean, it might be, but that's not an issue, but
There's a lot of residents.
of course, yes, but I believe that something that's more.
Residential building right around the corner,
I
right on
agree.
top of you and everything else. So there are plenty of people walking their.
I agree. And if I also may, just because this is not something that has been decided yet, but we are also looking into a smaller space on Greenwich Avenue more up to do the breakfast part, because we're just looking into it. We haven't discussed that yet. And that's not going to be alcohol based in any way, just, so that's not part of the scope of our conversation here. But I do understand where it can feel kind of delicate as a situation, but what I feel like guaranteeing in any stipulation that we might eventually get to, if we do get to that, is that we do not want to bring any trouble to the neighborhood. We want to bring just what we have to offer, which might on paper seem similar to everybody else, but it has its differences in a good way, not in a bad way.
Okay, go ahead. Cora.
I'm just describing your premise. It says you concentrate more on evening dinner service, but you're not a restaurant. So the concept, it's pulling from a lot of different things, but you can't independently exist at this location. Your concept can't independently exist here because you have to bring stuff from other places. And I mean, that just doesn't seem like a particularly strong business model. And on top of that, you're asking for full liquor in a place that's never been licensed before. There's plenty of offerings in every single corner of our community. We've had a significant increase in the number of licensed premises. The evening impacts are what people are. You've put on here that you're having DJs, entertainment level music.
Which
You haven't just talked to people in the building itself that are there that have concerns. I mean, it seems like there are a lot of issues here. I mean, Just to me, it just,
99% of those issues which are related to the music, entertainment level and all that have already been decided to be removed because that was our
no,
mistake.
those are the ancillary. The issue is your business is concentrated on dinner service, but you don't even have a kitchen.
We have a prep space with ovens, with heaters and all that's necessary to prepare the food that has been created beforehand. Because we have a decision with the landlord not to vent the space because they require not to vent it, or else we would have a full kitchen on site there as well. That was the only decision that we made.
I mean, but there's so many other places that have fully vented kitchens to do this type of business. So I'm not understanding how that's particularly compelling at all.
If I may.
Because we have so many places that you're reheating food here to serve to customers. I mean, it just.
It's not actually reheating, I just use it as an easy term. It is assembling and basically heating to the point that it's cooked on site. It's not, it's difficult to explain because it's a model that you're either a restaurateur or you cannot really like grasp what this means.
How is this?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're reheating food. Your words. You don't have a kitchen.
Okay.
You're not cooking here.
I'll try to explain myself better then because I usually, because it's layman's
Well, then
words.
why aren't you a restaurant?
Because we don't have gas.
You have plenty of restaurants without gas in our community.
We don't have we don't have full kitchen. We have like a food prep area. That's why technically we're not a restaurant.
Right. No. But then.
I think the main things are that we're gonna serve food. There's no, restriction as to, bringing food from the outside.
Yeah, exactly. You're bringing food from the outside.
Yeah, but there is no restriction about that. To that.
Okay, does anybody else from the committee have a Katie?
So I think I have three questions. So I looked on the website for the Madison Avenue because in the packet, there's no drink menu. And are you intending to do the same drink service and price points as you have at Madison Avenue here?
Price points and wines, absolutely yes. Really similar, maybe some extra wines. On the cocktail list, it's going to be a few similar things and then 2-3 added things. As I said, and I stand by this, we are not a bar. So we are not going to have a cocktail list.
Is it the same price point?
Yes, absolutely.
You've answered the question. That's fine. And do you still intend to have private parties?
Absolutely.
How many are you going to have a month?
Oh, no, we're not going to have private parties. No, when I said events, I wanted to specify this. For us, events has a totally different meaning. It's called, and this is our mistake because we did not know the wording. It's called food themed events, which are open to the people that reserve a spot. So we have connections with people that do prosciutto cut on site, a few food themed events.
So it's not a buyout.
It's not a live music event or a private party with closed doors. And it's only upon reservation.
That's fine. Thank you. And the last thing is I would be happier with 11 o'clock close on Thursday. It's still a weeknight. I like the 10 o'clock close Sunday through Wednesday, but Thursday is, children have to get up and go to school. People have to get up and go to work.
So if I understand correctly, it would be Sunday through Wednesday, 10, Thursday, 11, Friday, Saturday, midnight.
That would be better.
That is already a goal. That's fine by us. We are here to work with you. We're not here to antagonize you.
I don't know what other objections there might be, but thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Okay, anybody else from the committee have anything right now? Okay, we're gonna go to the public. Okay, Kate Bostock.
Kate Bostock, Jane Street Block Association. Thank you for being here. So we have the Block Association, as they mentioned, we met on Tuesday after the Block Association reached out to the applicant. They did not reach out to us. It was a short notice meeting, but we did agree to those stipulations. But taking a step back, It is an unlicensed space, and we do not see the community benefit in licensing this space for beer, wine, liquor going forward. It's an Italian concept. We have plenty of Italian concepts next door, across the street, all up and down Greenwich Avenue. It's 25 seats or 27 seats inside without a full kitchen. This is really, it mimics a bar. It might be a high-end cocktail bar, but it still mimics a bar with so few seats. We did think that we had agreement on no roadbed dining, but that seems different tonight, which, you know, I can't, it's not our purview, but I can't see how somebody can operate a business with 25 seats in New York City. Let's see. Oh, and the issue of events, it's still very unclear to us, and we couldn't get an answer in the meeting on Tuesday what they mean by events. And we've asked them to define it more clearly and got the same answer tonight. So, you know, it may be prosciutto and you're serving it to the 25 folks inside the restaurant, but is it promoted on social media? Does it create a line outside? What does event mean? So let me just check my notes. It is a very different concept than the one on Madison, given the hours. Additionally, I don't love mentioning it, but there was a lawsuit filed by several former employees of the applicant regarding wage theft and other issues, filed by, I believe, 3 former employees of their space on Madison, which has been opened just shy of a year with a lawsuit already. So chiefly, though, it's the fact that it's an unlicensed space that really is mimicking a cocktail bar on a quiet residential street, particularly the west side of Jane, right there.
So we'd gotten a letter from somebody in the building. Was there anybody in the building?
Nobody in the building.
Participated?
The Block Association doesn't know anybody in the building, and nobody showed up to the meeting. So we have no insight into how the residents of 1 Jane would be impacted.
And you reached out to the applicant. So
correct.
You didn't see any evidence of any outreach to anybody.
The yellow flyers
were
around,
posted.
but the community board's flyers, but no outreach, and
there was nothing on their door or anything.
No.
Underbuilt. Okay.
No.
Okay. Okay.
Anything else?
I think that's it. Thanks, Kate.
Thank you.
Okay.
So if I may, I think I was lost in translation. I spoke clearly about the events as we're getting called. They're going to be without a line outside of the store. I said they're only upon reservation. That does not get promoted. It's between the Cafe on Madison. We have never done any social media promotion, and we are proud to have approximately between the to-goes and the stays and people that sit down and enjoy approximately 500 customers a day, but that is a totally different, as you said, appeal that we have because it's catered to the people that come in, get something, leave, or they also sit down. But luckily, business has been thriving on that sense without having need to promote anything on social media because, believe it or not, we may be young, but we do not really believe in that kind of reach because it is not real. It's more fictional than real. We don't care about creating a queue outside of the store. Somehow, if there might ever be a queue, we would definitely try to our best to remove it. We would have somebody outside making sure that people don't loiter in front of the store because that's not our goal. We have 27 seats between the stools and the tables, and we intend on keeping that at a closed number where people, once it's closed, there's no more reservations available. You cannot come that night. You can come the next night after that or the night after that again. Regarding doing your homework, I guess, in this case, on our company, wage theft is what's
Please
put on
talk
the
to us. Please talk
I'm
to
sorry,
us.
yes. Wage theft is what's put on title.
one of these people that has been fired, and this was in October of last year, stole from our cash register, and we are counter suing this person because she allied herself with another two former employees that were fired for the same reasons. They used the easiest way to create a lawsuit, which is wage theft, because unfortunately, or fortunately, for depending on your point of view, employers get looked on bad from the get-go. It's not always subjective. It's easier for an employee to file a lawsuit against an employer than vice versa. So yes, we do have a lawsuit pending, and yes, it is in the first 2 months of operation, not even the first year, because we were unfortunate enough to believe in these people. And after finding out that they were stealing from us, we took the necessary steps to remove these elements from our company. So if that is bad, I apologize, but it has nothing to do with the way we run operations on the day-to-day operations. Because again, we are one of the most highly esteemed and frequented cafe bistros on Madison Avenue and in Midtown. And luckily, our reviews talk for ourselves, and our customers, our patrons, we are right below a 15-story building that I can say nothing shy than adores us, because we have a way of dealing with our customers and with our way of operating that leaves nobody any way of doubting us. That's all it is. And that's why I'm here to work with you and not antagonize. I'm not trying to do any of that.
So was there outreach to the people that are in the building that you're going into, the residents of that building? Were there any flyers put under their doors? Did you try to get in touch with the people that are in that building? Yeah.
I've not done that yet. I will be honest. I'm sorry, yeah, we have flyers. I spoke to 2 tenants, but I spoke with them last week because we introduced ourselves because we were in the store just taking a look. And we didn't have, unfortunately, time to either introduce.
Well, then, okay, that's part of the community outreach, and the same for Horatio Street, that big building on the corner there. Did you do any outreach to them?
No, but we will absolutely do so.
People across the street in the small buildings across the street, any outreach to them?
We have not done outreach in any way.
Outreach is very important because that's how we get to hear from the community. So we got letter from one tenant upstairs that was very opposed to this. Also, you might have been able to work out some of the things with her had you met with her, and she said there were other residents that were also very upset because there are so many restaurants already in the neighborhood, and they were concerned about the outdoor. They were concerned about anything on the sidewalk because they're elderly people and the sidewalk gets congested. They were concerned about any roadbed. That road, the travel lane there shares a bike lane. There's no bike lane.
There's a bike lane in the street.
The bike lane is part of the car lane. They share the lane. It's there. There's not a bike lane.
It's inside the street, yeah.
It's inside the same lane that the cars go in. It's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So if there's a car, there's no room for a bike. If anybody's parked on the side, or if there's a roadbed there, there's no room for the bicycle. There's
always cars parked, if I may, in that parking right there.
Give you a little heads up. I live right near there. I walk by there all the time. So I'm very familiar with that street and that area. And then what's happened since they closed, Horatio Street, you can't continue through Horatio Street. So what everybody does now is they take 13th Street, they take the left-hand turn on Greenwich, they take the right-hand turn on Jane so that they can get over there. So that little street area, if you're thinking about roadbed or anything, is kind of a nightmare with traffic, and a ton of traffic comes up to go to 14th Street up Greenwich. So it's having a roadbed there. It does not seem like something that would.
Just because this is a further demonstration on our end that we are here to work with you and not against you, we can put it in writing now that we will renounce to the roadbed. That is not our core. That's important for us, but if it comes across a long way towards the community and towards the Block Association, we are more than happy to oblige.
I mean, I think for me, the outreach that hasn't been done are to the people that live right there, like Kate had said she doesn't know people in those buildings right there. She's more active a little further west. So we not having the community that is right around you, your neighbors, the people you want to come to your place, because we've got plenty of places, again, that are there. I mean, there are 3 Italian restaurants within a block of you, within a block. So it's just, this is an unlicensed space where, we've lost another retail space, and you're coming in with a full liquor license to our neighborhood in some place that never had a license before without talking to the neighbors. And I'm feeling like not having I don't have a clear plan of what type of food, how this is going to operate, because there was so much put down here that you just removed. If those things were part of your method of operation, it's a little unclear to me how you just remove a DJ, remove live music, remove a party, remove half of what was in here.
Because those for us were just like corner things. They were not the main focus. The main focus is our concept.
And then I would say if you had come down and met with your neighbors and talked to them, you would have realized that and could have worked with them to see because if that's all part of your method of operation, I don't understand how that just goes away on a small space without a full kitchen with only 25 seats.
Okay, so I could give you a rundown of our business model and the way we make money. That's not what we're doing here. But what I can guarantee you is, unfortunately, beforehand, he said, it's not even for a restaurant, you're heating up. How do you call this? There are ways of doing things, luckily, as of today, that keep a high standard of quality, keep a high standard of service without having to do all that. The only reason why we put that in, as I told also the Block Association the other day, is because we wanted to be transparent that if once every blue moon, we wanted to put a DJ that would put Italian music for our patrons, because in Italy, just to be clear, this is something that's a detail that's added on to something that already is working on its own. This will not have been a constant. That's why I said as first thing, I apologize for the misunderstanding. This is not us trying to do a club where people are dancing and people are jumping on the tables. We are not here to do that. We don't do that anywhere. We don't even do that ourselves as like customers of restaurants and other things. We try to avoid that crowd. That's also why I said at the beginning, I feel sorry for people that have to get vomit on their doorsteps and all that, because we're not those kind of people. It's just like not even in our DNA. We try to cater to a high-end crowd, and that's also why we chose that specific corner. There were some locations available on Perry Street, on Charles Street, and those areas which are hustling and bustling, as they say. But that's not what we wanted for. We wanted something quaint that resembled us. And that's why we're coming across. We don't need anything except the space, fully operational with the menu that we have in mind, drinks included. But we don't need the outdoor. That's an extra thing for us. We don't need the DJ. That's an extra thing for us. And that is just the way we try to work with you, understanding that you as the neighborhood, as the committee, as the members of this community, because that's what we do. And regarding the outreach, I do apologize. We have leased the store 2 weeks ago. And since it is a cumbersome experience to get the license, because it takes time, we wanted to jump on the wagon of coming before you as soon as possible without sliding on to October, just for time's sake. That was all it is.
But this is what everybody's telling me. Everybody wants to do everything for their time's sake. And what happens is you're shortchanging the community, and you're shortchanging our ability to evaluate the license because you haven't met with the community, the full community of people that are there. Which in a way wastes a bunch of time if it's not, if the whole process hasn't been followed. So
if I may, as last thing in this case, of this part of the case, we haven't outreached yet, but we also strive to demonstrate you in person that whatever is convenient and makes the neighborhood feel like they're okay, we are willing to address it and do it. We're not just talkers, we also execute. So you said everybody's concerned, or people you heard about concerned about the roadbed? No worries. Until you don't ask us to only have 5 seats inside the store, then we're good, because we want the neighborhood to feel good, not just us.
Okay, anybody else have it?
I do have one question. I see on your Instagram page that you have something called Apparition. Chini Cola package?
It's a platter with
I
a
got- no,
crisp.
no. Are you going to be offering that at this restaurant?
We would like to eventually, yes.
Donna, this is like a package deal with a bottle of wine and appetizer plate, antipasto plate. So, you know,
Just for 4 people.
or two, it says you can order it for
Yeah,
two.
of course, if you want to, we can do that.
I'm just pointing it out.
Just to be clear, a bottle of wine in 2 is 3 glasses each, and a bottle of wine in 4 is 2 glasses or 1.5. Not drunk level, not party level.
Okay, I think that does it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next application, Corvette LLC, 10 Downing. Yep. Hi, thank you.
Nope, same as this. You guys want the original signatures as well? They're
Did you send them in?
Yeah, they're something.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello. Yeah. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to try to keep this short as sweet as possible. Mr. Gruber has graciously waited around all night and he would like to speak on it, so I'll try to make it quick.
Don't blame me.
Yeah, right. So Matt Colton with Heldron and Levy representing Corvette LLC. This is an application at 10 Downing Street. This is an asset purchase from Holiday Bar, which has been at 10 Downing Street for a while now. I'm here with the operator, Ed Shermansky. I'm going to kick it over to him to kind of just give you a bit of his background, and then I'll run you through the nuts and bolts of the packet and then take it from there.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you all again. The last time was virtually. I have 2 liquor licenses in the neighborhood and I've been before you guys a couple of times for Dame and Lords. The accent doesn't give it away. I'm the English guy. Quite the irony that we're opening a restaurant at 10 Downing Street. The hope is to open and operate a seafood restaurant that expands a little bit on the cooking that we're doing at Dame. Dame became known for fish and chips and English seafood. I would like to lean a little bit more into a European aspect, inspired by mine and my wife, who's my business partner. We just had our first child, so she's at home with Clem tonight, otherwise she would be here. In the south of France. So it's inspired by that style of cuisine. That'd be a nice raw section, lots of vegetables, grilled fish, pasta, a few meat options, but not a lot. And that's the kind of restaurant we plan on opening. You can read our community outreach in there, letters of support from neighbors of our current businesses, as well as signatures from people in 10 Downing Street. We met with our local block associations. I'm a resident of CB2. I used to live above Carbone, very noisy. So I moved to Nolita, but still within the realms of CB2. I work at the restaurants every day. That's pretty much it. Definitely a chef, not a bar or anything like that. Like I'm nominated for James Beard Awards and was named by Food and Wine as one of their best new chefs last year. So that's my style. I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
Just as far as the like seat count and stuff, it's 23 tables, 84 seats, 1 bar, 10 seats. Outdoor dining. I wanted to include it on the packet so you're not surprised when we come back. The DOT process hasn't happened yet. Similar to Mr. Bernstein's application earlier, we need a Department of Health permit. We're going to need to submit plans to the DOT. I submitted like a rough idea of what we were
I
thinking.
just wanted to have some idea, yeah.
So all the sidewalk seating would be on 6th Ave, which is the extra wide sidewalks, not on Downing Street, which is a much narrower sidewalk. The current plans they have drawn up are 10 four tops, so 40 seats, which is fairly large. It's very similar to what Holiday Bar currently has, and I included a picture of what Holiday Bar has. The DOT might make us truncate that when they look at the plan. So, but that's the rough idea of what we're going to be applying for. Also, as far as hours, so The reason I put the hours that are in the packet is that is what the hours that we're transferring from the previous license. So it's 12 a.m. Sunday through Wednesday, Thursday 1 a.m., Friday, Saturday 2 a.m. Ed went around and talked to neighbors, talked to block associations, and there was a bit of pushback on the 2 a.m. So we've agreed to edit that. We would ideally love 1 a.m. across the board, but if the neighbors or the block associations would like us to do 12 and 1, 12 Sunday through Wednesday, 1 Thursday through Saturday, that can work as well.
Yeah, David and Kathy asked for the 1 a.m. and that's fine, but like, I don't need the 2 a.m.
Okay. And the outside, I know it's not with this, but I just want it closed at 11 before. Is that okay to close?
Yeah, 11 is what was previously had. 11's great. Yeah. And then there are double doors. If you'd like us to close that by 10, that's on the 6th Ave side, not on the Downing Street side.
Yeah, those closed by 10.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
Yep.
no problem.
Donna,
Go ahead. You can go ahead, Dr. Smith.
would you consider closing at 1 o'clock on Saturdays, Fridays and Saturdays and not Thursday because it is a school night and kids go to school and people have to go to work?
While I completely respect where you're coming from, we are doing an asset trade here, so I don't want to come down on the hours too much. And everyone we've talked to from a neighbor and block association was okay with the 1 o'clock hours. So if it's all the same, we would like to keep the 1 Thursday through Saturday. Yes, correct.
The door on Downing Street, is that going to be used for patrons or not?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the main entrance, is the Downing
The
Street.
Downing Street, that little side door?
Well, there's technically 2 doors on Downing Street. There's one kind of on the far left, but then there's one in the middle. That's your entrance.
The one in the middle is the entrance, not the one,
Yeah, if you look on the
like not the ones that are here on 6th Avenue that are the double doors. That's not
no,
the main
that
entrance.
opens up to the sidewalk cafe, but that's
Right.
not main.
Okay, so you're
ingress
gonna
and
go
egress.
down to the door down.
Yeah, it's
down.
kind of in the middle of the diagram that I sent you. I labeled it entrance/exit. All the
Yep.
other ones are labeled
Yep.
exit.
Okay,
Yep.
and everybody's okay with that? I
Yep.
mean, I guess we'll hear, but okay. Okay. Does anybody else from the committee have anything before we? Go ahead, Katie.
Okay, so, what's your private party business plan?
We'd love to book out private parties up to like once a month or that, but in reality, we don't book them very often. We're fortunate to be very popular as a restaurant for the food that we make at night. So it's not really in our best interest to book out private parties. We want the guests to come and enjoy the food I'm making. Now, as you probably know, private parties can be very lucrative for restaurants. So if a fashion brand wants to come and, if someone asks to buy it out, I'd love the right to be able to do that. But I'm happy to stipulate to like a number or like.
Do you want to throw out a number?
10
Well,
is
so
would be
12.
less than once a month. So
Yeah.
10 would be great.
Take 12.
12, we'll take 12. All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Holidays you might want.
Yes.
So, okay, so
You know-
12 a year.
I mean, I have a lot of history at this place and working with the licenses when Zella Jones was chair of the sidewalk committee. And there has been a lot of dispute about the door on Downing Street. And I have entered the restaurant through the 6th Avenue side in the past. I know that Holiday Bar has it now, but in, 2000, they did not. And this was a very strong thing of the community. So I see you haven't really arranged it that way, but that was not the preferred entrance in the past.
I don't believe the preferred entrance has come up in our discussion. So if it's a huge point of contention for a block association and Mr. Gruber can speak to it more, we can stipulate to whichever door you'd like us to use.
Yeah, I think, Downing Street's a very small street, having you're a very popular person. 6th Avenue is more logical. And it would be, we do like as a committee to preserve Thursday night. And we like it, we like the little earlier closing on Thursday. We like it to be Sunday through Thursday.
That the neighbors meant for.
Well, I know, but we're the, we have,
The previous, the previous were 12, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
That's what was.
well,
there
I'm
before.
just telling you my opinion.
I appreciate it, Katie. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Gruber.
What's yours?
I'm David Gruber, 5 Carmine Street. The applicants met with 2 our block associations coalition. Pizza Dentist is representing the Bedford Downing Block Association, has come down with COVID, couldn't join us. But Central Village and Carmine Street Block Associations met with the applicants. They have 2 other licensed establishments in the neighborhood. We have no problems with them. We've never had any complaints with them. There's obviously there's no roadbed dining here because it's a huge sidewalk. The reason that I feel, Katie, that they go on Downing Street for the entry is because, and I've been to this restaurant dozens of times with different owners, is you have to walk through the diners to get in, where if you go through the Downing Street side, you're actually entering into the restaurant, and there's like a reception and a coat area, bathrooms. Whereas you go through 6th Avenue, you have to navigate through people eating, and it's kind of awkward. So we didn't make an issue of that, but the committee will do what the
You're not
committee does.
concerned about
What's that?
crowds of people out. That would be my only thing would be any crowds of people outside on Down.
Yeah, people keep talking about this. There's a history because many years ago, there was actually another business that was causing a lot of problems, which was like the Motorcycle Federation or something. And that's why people wanted the entrance to be on 6th Avenue. But once that was gone, it changed the dynamic of whatever was happening here, that I don't think it's an issue
Yeah.
anymore.
But,
And I don't even know if those spaces may have been combined. I can't.
This used to be a dry cleaner. Do you remember? Yeah. And it used to be a travel agent. Remember that? For those who know. Anyway, I just want to say we're encouraged that a good operator is coming into the space, and we wrote you a letter to that effect, I believe. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Okay, does anybody from the committee have anything else? No. Okay. I think we're good.
Thank you.
Thank
Set.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Congratulations on the baby. Okay, anybody have anything else at this time? I see nothing. So we'll take a break for a minute and then come back for our business.
That motorcycle.
Yeah, that's all. It's stored. Part of the restaurant. Yep. One that's all.
It's not like, well, I'm looking down at it.
And that's why.
I love them. I love them. They're different. The only one team. Oh. The cheese. Yeah, the cheese. Oh my God. Yes, she is. Dr. Smith's favorite consulting. Well, the one of the things is going to the boyfriend to there's a lot of. Yeah. Mark, this is all of.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So. First one is Cellar. I mean. Have a problem. I've been watching good enough.
See, it was wrong.
First of all, I really positive. Or, or, you know. very unknown, but.
The point I think about construction in your yard is actually construction. It's not just a simple. Building as something like. Yeah. Build something. So it's just.
Well, I did read part of, I did read the part. That was the issue. Anything very hard.
Well, certainly. Additional seating. System. So, say. Now, for both. It's just now. Your parents. I think it's fine. There's actually. Very difficult. Buildings. Check those, sense, but. The evolution in many of the rear yards. This. Fourth Street, they nailed the door. And that was the exit.
And they took away me, and the whole. But they agreed to a wonderful. Yeah. So what is that?
Well, there's existing stipulations, not really a concern. Right. It's license already. We don't. So that's.
Right.
That's not there's stipulation.
They were gonna do that. Right. Well, how do you, I mean. We, this week, we have. Seated in secondary. But I think you're really. So.
Even with the stipulation, it would not be no back. Sure, yes. The stipulation is very dark. It's only about.
And I.
The process.
So. You know, go home. This is the bill. Say that. You're not. You're not.
Your recommendation.
say anything or not.
Very, very.
Okay. We have to monitor. Very good.
Into the room. Yeah. They just license. But,
and we talk about the thing we want. I know, but I think they have a good. And I didn't like to them, they, for the coming, all their places are much, I mean, I was like, people maps and there's, it's the other places, but they're very different area than this. And they haven't been open, you know, 4 years, it's not like it's 15 years, all. They've been involved in the restaurant, and that. So I know that they're trying to say they have no room, but they didn't do that.
so, one of the things. Right. Something is what I'm saying, what Donald's saying is not actually wrong, but there's much more involved in standards. Fine. There are limitations. I think. I think that. The coffee shop was the artist. Makes sense. In this. Right there. Yeah, but back, there's some place. So I think it's. But, I mean, this is the. And yeah. It's not subjective. So. But if you're going to do that, it doesn't mean the same level, you guys. Still. I understand. Right. It's a very. Well, I think, John has a little. This is the thing that we could object to, but we don't necessarily have that. Our opinion is full opinion, other things. I think that. I mean, I didn't get an answer. First of all, managerial. Other places, which you might have done. Awful. Their operation point out it's a complaint there that there's one of that, but why also they're doing construction and they will not do it. And so there's left this, they're working with, and they will not. People watching it. But I think that this guy was treating this. It's the full street connected with all this. Following. As some seating,
Right.
in fact, yeah.
You're gonna do that.
And I think that the. It's like.
Yeah.
It's big. There's a lot of little things.
And it's so community of. Yeah. I think that Donald thinks that maybe we don't necessarily know that is that the standard for beer and wine is less. In everybody. I think I don't know why he was bringing that up, and that's, he also mentioned, say, even though it was a community example, noise, that's something that maybe we might look want to consider because it's not part of the standard. But we also, I think we also have responsibility to see what we always do, try to manage between the neighborhood, the business. I just like to make up, kind of do it too. So we are.
And to your point, the liquor authority does. Response. And it didn't seem to me that there. That didn't.
Better than our stipulation. Yeah. There was anybody coming up with anything to try to mitigate. Us, even if it wouldn't mitigate it, I think there are.
I'm also a little concerned with the box. Totally. It's fast. And he's a community. Why for it? Yeah, they don't have the health department. So there's a lot of unknown with it. And I don't even know. This application may go into, if they file it, can go in without it. And so it becomes, right, so.
They can't wait to get stuff. But we do have this.
I mean, if you were to say, then probably would be able to get in. It's not what they were saying. And if they continue to pursue it, discuss it further to define the board.
Inside, outside.
How many coffee shops? I don't think. It is.
A small neighborhood coffee cafe. Small cafe. Or maybe like everything. Are they going to let the That's.
So I think that. Is that the part?
No, so far.
Well.
That's. And all of the currently, they don't have other good things. The Terry people are only very, they didn't do that. And the trash pickup will be between 10 and 11 a.m. Now, yeah.
Don't going to do it. You say that for a long time now. If it actually, that's it. It'll be one truck.
Yeah. What about the sound? What about that? You need to read something about you need to read all other feelings. Like a display. Is that? No, it's. Yeah, we're down. Yeah. Is that part? So. Sounds like what we're doing. Don't have the period to 9. We are putting in the stipulation. We're not.
We're writing it, so it's not like to discuss it. So it's putting in what we would see as reasonable. Say that.
Well, that we don't have.
And then they will say, oh.
I do.
Not true because they have. But. Number.
Yes.
One of those. It's a separate single family. The argument is at the same standard. Standard saying.
This.
Same standards. It's not just. Standard review or. That's not what it review. When Charlie was talking before, the reason you see that is they stipulated license. Reduce, every single license in one. And the boy and everything, Sundays, but. Are down in order. What we're doing is that we'll be. And analyze. give this to the department, consideration of like to consider the department. So it's not the stipulations, it's how. We are to do that.
And the authority, the. We are asking that. So. But they didn't agree to the design. Yeah. So, okay, so are we okay with that? Or that's the goal. I'd like to consider okay. They said that was yeah, so it really, it's what we had before. Not busy. Or not the alliance. Only does. Only so many 25. Not the alliance. Okay. Chill. Oh, before. They are, yeah, I think they can pay my backs. It's part of it. No, they don't give us.
Well, what was surprising is that it's all chopped up with the side. It's never allowed.
Well, why didn't they tell them to grant us? Oh. So. They said they would stipulate more events, and events are not. Now they're promoting in mail, because a lot of emotions. Otherwise, we have.
We'll just say they're doing that.
Right.
I don't, that kind of. I can see the event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if they have a collaboration, like if they all, they have someone, they cannot people. Yeah. Like. No, they want, it's not like those. They don't.
Yeah. In looking now, carefully. Yeah. The current one, which is issued. As underground. Nonsense, it was used to take care of it from the children. The the gallery space, may allow. It's used.
And the other celebration, I don't think it's what that
It's the exact.
Yeah, exactly. Knowledge. So, I mean, our office. That we have to look. We want to for them to be right. But they also said it won't be rented out anymore. This is, you know, what funny thing, they will not rent out the space anymore. But I will rent it out. That's the first time I did, that was not very good.
The stipulations stipulate that no service. Something.
Yeah. Okay. That's good because it memorializes the conversation. That's one of the sports.
Rearrange stipulations.
So.
My concern here is this space has been more the last 10 years. Concern happened. Big one.
That weird back.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just been evolved. And that's my concern. It came up because one of the places in the street burned down. One of the people voting there, voting us. That's the only reason I came across it. I like that's when they are also.
Yeah.
Yeah, they delivered it. It was really promoting. Alteration, then the restaurant.
Yeah.
Thing, and I think that they're. Sorry. And, but with that said, this is the space that needs. So.
What's the rest of the thing? Yeah. Said that, but you don't have that. And last time we did the association on record.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the last letter, you know what? Say.
So they agreed to build another. What's the that's the project. And I do get it, all that. No.
And generally, our problem just seems that this has been more. A problem.
Very gross.
And he did say to staff, we are gonna, this is your. But that's all. And there's no connecting door to the residential area. But it's not, regular. Okay. So deny on that. Yes. Yes, on. Bill Gottlieb, the Gottlieb family owned this building, they own the house. Denver was here. One of the apartments was there. And it didn't. The hours are too late, I'm sorry.
It's the same hours.
Wait a minute.
No, I know, but they said the same.
That's not gonna be open for one,
Right.
but you never gonna give yourself a little more, time. She didn't talk to around. Well, we intended to be brought, she did one or two doors.
It's for this, I mean, it's, looks like they're taking someone. They're taking the bones and. Do it. It's not just, it's like groups. I think it's kind of unique. In that. Shoot, and.
Well, Frank said that there's a lower pay. Still truck people pay low. She created the catering out of it. For chocolate. She did not do that. Saying very close. Hearing this. Sorry.
What do you think? What's the concern? So if they had one or two events that go into one. So, I mean, that's.
But what is like? We might hear. No, she said that.
She said that. Oh, thank you. And the box, I mean, that sort of happens. I bet one. Uses those for.
If it's 10, a month or 10 footage.
They took the 10 month.
Yeah.
And I think that Katie's point, once they're using the kitchen, so.
Pay it out.
But I mean, I think it's the same two principles that are operating space is one of the two. And I just think that this is evolution of the business. And I don't think they just want to bring it back and do something. The day-to-day, the catering.
Yeah, they didn't get like the walk.
I think the biggest thing. I think. Yeah.
Or you could, are we going to put downtown? But she, no. Oh, yeah. Guess what? These are open. Yeah. Okay. Ready? Yeah. Okay. Are we the nine left? Okay. So, one thing. Oh, God. I, you know, when I first. It's license holder. We've heard a lot of that. Actually, it's very all the time. Just down that Clarence Avenue, Diane, we go down in the, that is burrito, like, or like that. Because always from day one, I should have done it like that. Always did it with something. And that was there for like, a different. The down easier to get. I remember they said that you could get in to get. I'm looking at it, no, that's not happening. And then we have the pizza place that's on that block. Yeah, we have the pizza, and then we have this other. It's in between the town and then the poor gentleman, I ran into him to get his places. I could see the one who took over the one thing go further down, and then he took the coffee shop. You remember that? My coffee people like that, so he took that. I don't know, we're getting close. Yeah. But it's getting close. He's getting close. So I mean, there's a bunch of like when I went down like all the time and then. We've got Arthur stuff with two places, another block of we've got the Vina wine bar, we've got Frankie and whatever, they're gonna be American place. It's like, what? Maybe it was a sushi place, but just something or a Chinese restaurant, you know, something. I just don't know what is the whole thing. Is it a restaurant?
I think that. Saying something, and that's my main concern. It's not a standalone. And it seems if you do their public interest, that the way that. And you can have an electric kitchen. See it regularly. Yeah. They may be, but they don't even. They're saying that they can't, they would set. And it's like just not back. Now saying away from that. It's so awesome. Yeah. States that it's not on it, responding. So all these things don't really sound real, and then you kept saying dinner. You know, that's.
Are concerned that they're.
No, I think that they're not asking anything particularly compelling. The concern is that they're going to change and just going to become farms.
They don't have Carter, remember that place in Avery that wanted to make them it was like a jacket. It was like a clothing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we said, how do you do? You order the food and they bring it by car.
So, it starts, the business starts for such a small. Saying, they have 25 seats inside, someone will bring everything somewhat. You're cooking it, or you're not cooking it, it's not about you have a meal and it's assembled, but it's an assembly that's so significant to getting across to understand it, and it just starts to become a very strange type of place, which I don't think is particularly telling. There's no communication, people will go in. They want to change it. Starting all these things.
It's like a. Yeah.
So,
It's like. Oh, that.
You mean you look?
Yeah. What was the restaurant that the family owned here? Okay, so. I mean. He thinks it's good to be leader. Nobody removes everything.
One of that's the design of the restaurant. Exactly. And I suspect that the landlord will think it could be rented to.
We didn't want it, right? You know, usually they like find out, right? Okay, so do not. For that. Yes, yes. I'm not prepared to. But I am not, I am not doing that from the work that is. Because they did not do, I would vote for it, they do, Friday and Saturday. To the late hours, but not, I'm with you, yeah, I'm not voting. Yeah. I know.
The current hour. Sunday and Wednesday, 1 a.m. 2 a.m.
1 a.m. Thursday, I'm not, and I asked them, and I mean.
But they reduced the Fridays.
It's a night. No, my team's winning. No, I'm not, I'm against. Okay. Yeah. Not too shabby. Well, Tuesday we walked there.
20 minutes to 11.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I took something. Yeah, if you went on, that would be. Yeah. You know, you would be.